Just a minute now. For $1, you can show me how. I'll take your hand and then your worries too. Just but then I think your dreams come true. Your dreams come true. I'll make your dreams come. I'll make your dreams come. I'll make your dreams come true. Like the smoke from your fire, smoldering endless desire. How long will your flame burn? I like to undercook them because I don't like do 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 do. Oh. Maybe wait for this another day. What do you mean I made... Oh, yeah. Well, you know what, man? This is what you get for getting a stream every night of the week so far. So, fuck you, buddy. All right. They call me the sweaty man. I don't... What? Put sweaty man in a giant L. Just shouting down some fruit snacks before we start. I've been good, Joel. I've been good. That's the plan. Unless this game goes into a third day, which I don't think is going to happen. I mean, we're wowing with or without you, Chris. I hate to break that to you. But if unless this game goes into a third day, we'll finish this. And then play some WoW.
Or if it's early enough, we'll play We Were Here. I'll play We Were Here Together. The rest of it on stream. I still need to upload the raw footage. It's very boring raw footage. I should let everyone know. I was not trying to be entertaining, but I'll probably just put it up anyways in case people are interested. Yeah, both Chris and Joel. You guys should hop on and get that memory of lucid dreams thing while the stream's on. You just need to do three Nary quests. It has to be Nary. Make sure it's Nary. And you'll have level 3 in memory, which is really good for both of you. All right, here we go. So, hello everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back to the stream. Always fantastic to be doing this. I think it's time to just hop right into it. I think it's gonna be a grand old time. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot. We have to do the absolutely mandatory pre-stream checking out Quinn's YouTube channel. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, there's a new video. Shit, I didn't know there's a new video. There's a new video, everybody. If you haven't seen Quinn Bobin's new YouTube video, it is up since 5 hours ago. It is a Nier Automata Funny Moments video. You should absolutely watch it. I don't know. I feel like I've been doing this at the start of every stream, so this is just what we do to start the stream. I know it's not any new news to anyone, but it just seems like a good tradition. We got 12,000 videos on this video right here. That's crazy. Anyways, let's play the game. I have been thinking a bit about what game I should play after the Yeah, I do like the banner. It's a bit. Do you like Code Vein, Quinn? What do you think? Do you like the game? I can't tell. I feel like it's real. I feel like with the sheer amount of Code Vein videos, it's hard to tell whether or not you like the game. Hate it? That's what I thought. We are gonna be. I was thinking about what game I should play after Ace Attorney. Like after I finish the whole series, which will be a while from now, but I feel like I have enough time to kind of start plowing through a few games here. So it might be something to think about. I think I had a few ideas, but I don't remember what it was. I'll honestly just end up playing whatever you guys want me to play. I kind of want to play some Metroidvanias. Maybe I'll do Bloodstained from the start or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know anymore, dude. I'll just play what people want me to play because I just want to stream. I don't even give a shit about. Well, I want to play games for people, but I only want to play if people are actually gonna watch. Oh shit! There. All right, into the game. Remember to get your water. Well, this is it. Today's the day it all goes down. And then there was yesterday. This meeting is over. Sorry. Just give us 5 more minutes. We can call them back after that. Sorry, no go. Come on, piano boy, we're leaving. Darian, wait! I never liked you. Either of you. Huh? If I'm playing Fire Emblem, I gotta get past the first fucking game, because it's a game I've started and stopped multiple times. I can't play, but here's the thing. I can't play Fire Emblem, because I'll be restarting until I am able to save every single person. It's just not gonna happen. Darn it, we were so close. He was about to tell us. Hey, Apollo. He didn't want us to hear what Machi had to say. And I think I know why. Time to bring down a little justice. Capital J Justice. What was that? He is heard but unseen. He is heard but unseen. Who's that talking? Alan Gramarye? Using the door like an average muggle, no less. You aren't the witness today, are you, Uncle Valent? Preposterous proposition! How could I stand to stand upon the stand? Why, my secrets would be free for the plucking! I might even have to sign autographs. That's why I intend to remain hidden for the entire day. Ooh, with vanishing magic? Indeed, I will jump upon an express train and express myself to the next town over. But before I go, a word of warning. Warning? What? Grand Gramarye Glamour resides at the root of all that has happened. Do not forget this truth. A glamour? A spell, a sorcery, a great illusion! Miss Trucy, so it pains me to part, so I need to get in line for a ticket. Farewell! And there he goes. You sure seem happy about that illusion thing. Oh, big illusions are the bread and butter of a magician. You can't pull off a show without one. The big illusion is always a spectacle to remember. Usually or the Eiffel Tower, anything really. So he was talking about what he saw at the concert. Lamiwar's disappearing act. And Prosecutor Gavin's exploding guitar. I wonder what he meant by it being at the root of all that has happened. Well, it's about time. Shall we go? No, excuse me, sir. Yes? Scheduled starting time for the trial has been changed. The trial will not be commencing until 10:30 a.m. Sorry for the inconvenience. Huh? Did something happen? This is a first. It was by the judge's request. Some urgent personal business. Great, I bet he stayed up too late last night watching courtroom dramas. Apparently he's visiting the hospital again. The hospital? I believe it was mentioned that the Chief Justice's son is unwell. Apparently his condition worsened considerably this morning. The Chief Justice's son. Well, that's right. Remember yesterday morning? The judge said he had to go visit him after the trial. There's an article about it in the newspaper. If you care to read about it yourself. Whoa, what? This is gonna be relevant? The fuck? Incurate. Whoa. What? What? Wait, what? This is relevant? I'll let you read that article for us, Apollo. Just leave the TV guide page to me. Try not to lose the page with the funnies if you can. Fucking hell, man.
I have my apologies for the delay. Court is now in session for the trial of, how do you say this name again?
Machito Bai. Suspect fortissimo.
Right, it's his trial in any case.
The defense is prepared, Your Honor. The prosecution is ready to rock. Is something wrong, Your Honor?
No, well, yes. It's just that I've been friends with the Chief Justice since we were students. It pains me to see him going through such a difficult time.
Incuritis, was it? That article said there is no known cure. Judge, let me say, with all honesty, I feel your pain. But now is not the time for tears. Now is the time for law.
Indeed. We left off at quite a juncture yesterday.
Ask Interpol about that number, IPXX 314206. The agent registered under this number was Romain Letus.
Thanks for looking into that for us, Detective Descend. It's a great help.
Oh, no problem at all, Your Honor.
I'll be heading out.
Hold it! Wait! That voice just now. It was him. I am sure of it.
It was him?
That voice I heard talking to Mr. Letus when I heard the gunshots fired. It was him. It was Mr. Diane.
No way.
Quite a sensational ending. Who would have thought Diane would guest star on the season cliffhanger? He was a suspect.
I urge the prosecution to look into this matter. Please tell the court your findings.
Darian Crescent is a member of my band, the Governors. He is also a detective, making the current charges serious indeed. Yet, after investigation, I have found no cause to alter our case or file new charges. And your reason is? Weren't you aware, Airforehead? He has an impeccable alibi.
An alibi?
Let us review the facts again, shall we? The concert held on the night of the shooting was in three sets. The Governors ripped up the stage during the first set. For the second set, our guest took center stage. The only performers appearing were myself, Ramiwa, and Mashi, along with a drummer and bassist for a total of 5. The shooting in the dressing room, however, took place during the third set. Ramiwa and the defendant, Machi Tobaya, left the stage at that point, and the Governors were already rocking. These events, 2 shots rang out at the scene of the crime. Shots heard by Detective Emma Sky, mind you. And Apollo, you heard them too, right? I sure did. Furthermore, Lamiwa herself witnessed the moments of the crime. Well, perhaps I should say she heard the moment of the crime, but she claims to have heard Mr. Letus and Detective Crescent talking.
Well, that's impossible. Detective Crescent was...
Precisely. Detective Crescent was on stage getting his groove on, no less. Voila. A perfect alibi.
Does the defense have anything to add to this?
It's true, when I heard those gunshots, he must have been on stage. Still, there's something here that doesn't quite add up.
It appears the defense has no objections. I believe we can safely say the dying Crescent's alibi has been acknowledged.
Which means that Lemiwa was still sadly mistaken. Her testimony cannot be true.
Very well, of course, if we disregard her testimony, then I see no evidence keeping us from declaring a verdict. If indeed there are no objections.
Besides the fact that his arm would be blown clean off, I don't think that this makes no goddamn sense. I don't understand it. Why hasn't this been brought up? They've specifically mentioned that firing the gun would dislocate your shoulder. The kid is fucking 14. I don't understand how people think that this is at all possible. Uh-oh, Apollo. If he declares a verdict now... Nah, but Prosecutor Gavin's case is airtight. Lemiwar might have been lying to protect Machi. How can I rely on her testimony? Wait, what about yesterday in the detention center? About the kiss? What about the kiss? He wants to tell us about Mr. Letus's death. This meeting's over. Darian? Machi was trying to tell us something, I know it. Maybe the best thing to do is ask him, under oath.
Well, if the court finds the defendant, what was his name again?
Objection! Your Honor!
No, that wasn't it. It was something like Marquise or Mr. Justice.
Your Honor, before you declare a verdict, I would like to call another witness. Exactly who else do you need to hear from? A witness who, until now, has not been given a chance to speak in this court, because he doesn't speak English. You don't mean... I do. The defense calls defendant Machi Tobaya to the stand. Fuck! I messed that up.
Well, what when he doesn't speak English?
We'll use an interpreter. Interpreter? I'm afraid you'll have to look elsewhere. I only speak a few phrases such as I love you and where's the toilet. The defense would like to request Lemiwar as the interpreter.
Lemiwar, but there's a possibility she's protecting the defendant.
But she'd be interpreting for the defendant. Why would she lie?
This is most unusual.
Bravo, everyone. Our judge, the prosecution agrees with the defense's request. If Lamiwa lies, I'll be able to tell. Even my limited knowledge of his language should be enough for that.
Well, if the prosecution and defense are for this, I see little cause for refusal.
Finally, some progress.
Bailiff, please show the defendant and Lamiwa to the witness stand.
By the way, I mentioned this last case in the last stream. I don't know how many people were here, but I fucking love Gavin. I think he's an awesome prosecutor. I suppose there is a first time for everything. Salvi proceed. Your name to begin with, if you would, Lamiwa. Yes. He says Machi to buy the defendant.
This is certainly affairs for this courtroom. Not that we really need an interpretation of that message in particular.
So far, so good.
Very well, Mr. Justice, if you would.
Huh? If I would what, Your Honor?
Would what? You called the defendant to the stand, did you not? What would you have him testify about?
What do I want him to testify about? I hadn't thought that far yet. Apollo, aren't you going to ask him what he was about to tell us yesterday? How can I if I don't know what he was saying? Excuse me a moment if I might speak.
Yes, Lamiwa.
Just now Machi said there was something about which he wishes to testify. She wants to testify about something? What could it be? This prosecutor is tied with Francisca for me right now. It goes like Gavin / Francisca, Edgeworth, Godot, and then fuck the other ones. Hello, Mad Bacon Boy.
What sort of testimony is he talking about?
One moment, please.
Ah, the suspense is killing me.
What? What?
Well, Lamiwa?
According to Machi, he has proof of his innocence.
What?
This is a surprise. Well, you have to keep in mind that I really love a good villain. I really like Gul'dan from World of Warcraft is an awesome villain. He's just a piece of shit, and you just love to hate him. And there's not really anything redeeming about Von Karma, and they give her like a little bit, but they really don't try to redeem how much of a brutal prosecutor she is. And I love that. And I love someone that you can hate. I really love just someone that you can hate. I think that's really good. Wow, Layton's above everyone else? We'll see about that. And I think Von Karma is really good for that, but I also think Gavin's really good for a prosecutor that you can actually like appreciate. I don't think we've had a prosecutor in the game that you've actually been able to respect as like a person. Because every prosecutor, Edgeworth obviously took a lot of time for him to be good. Like there was a redemption arc for a lot of the prosecutors, but Gavin's just a fun prosecutor. He's got a good personality. He's not necessarily he's not aggressively antagonistic. He seems to be after the same thing that you're after, the truth. And unlike Von Karma, he isn't willing to lie and cheat to get to it, which I think is really important. And plus, he's fucking cool. I mean, look at this dude. He's just standing there, hips in his pockets, like, whatever, man. Is this a surprise? Yahoo! Victory, Apollo! We did it! I think, actually, just one more comment about it. And during this case was the first time that we ever saw his, like, shit, I'm being defeated face. And he looks a lot like Edgeworth in the face and the way he poses. And I actually don't like that. I think it's very unbefitting of the character because he always seems to have been a character who smiles even when he's losing because he's getting what he wants, the truth. Plus, he just wants to go fucking rock and roll and ride around his motorcycle bitches. This is sounding too good to believe, and I know what that usually means.
Well, if that's true, then this is vital testimony. Lamiwa, Machi. Please testify to the court.
Very well. Proof of innocence. Okay. He says that word of Mr. Letus's death came as a great shock, but if the killing truly followed the lyrics of my song, that is, he could not have done it. He says that because the lyrics are in English, he does not understand them.
I see. He wouldn't have understood the English lyrics of the song. That would prevent him from following them so closely.
I wondered what he meant by proof. Why, he would only have to ask Lamiwa to know the meaning of that song. Lamiwa, did you ever explain the lyrics of that song to him? I did tell him generally what the song was about, but never in so much detail, and he never asked. Has my oft-repeated warning already fled that forehead? Maybe one might be protecting the witness.
Well, anyway, let us proceed with the cross-examination. Mr. Justice, if you would.
Yes, Your Honor. Something's hidden in that testimony, I know it. I'll just have to trust my bracelet to tell me where. Worked yesterday, it'll work today. Proof of innocence. By the way, another quick comment about Apollo. I really like Apollo. It's really hard to describe, but I feel like Apollo has a way of speaking that's very subtle and a way of breaking things down that I feel is more interesting than Phoenix Wright. I feel more character from Apollo Justice than I do from Phoenix. I never really felt like Phoenix had a character, but I feel like Apollo does while still maintaining that self-insert feel of the game. It's difficult to pin down exactly what I mean by that, but that's just a general feeling that I have from the game. Yeah, I knew he was innocent. I believe he is too, Trucy. I do. What's wrong, Apollo? You got a tummy ache or something? Something's hidden in that testimony. If it's the truth, I'll find it. Mr. Latus's death came as a great shock. First, I guess. We're matching Mr. Latus close. Yes, after we traveled around the world on tour together. Let me was. This is Match's cross-examination, not yours. But I knew the answer. This is a court of law. We'll play by the book. I understand. Prosecutor Gavin's tough. He's really tough. Matchy says he was very good friends with Mr. Latus. Mr. Latus was always a gentleman, never angry. We got along well. I never dreamed something like this would happen. Wouldn't it be difficult for him to perform without knowing the meaning of the lyrics? No, because he just played piano. He did know what the song was about. Its mood, shall we say. That was enough to play by. I told him it was a song about a guitar in love. It's not actually the guitar that's in love, strictly speaking. Oh, perhaps I misunderstood. Ah, no, not really. Yours is also a valid interpretation. Okay. No, it is my fault. I am too used to singing in Bojanian. It is much easier than trying to understand these English lyrics. Yeah, I knew he was in it. Okay, I'll do this. I'm pressing these other two just to see. Yeah, you're right, Chris. Shit. The guitar is Serenade, correct? Yes, the crime followed the lyrics of the song. The touch of the keyring, the burning guitar, and the bullet. This is why it could not have been me. That being said, no, because they made it ages ago. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna perceive this statement. Jesus Christ. There it is. Fucking got you. Get out of here, you fucking little bitch. Little bitch. Little lying little fucking sack of shit, you fucking stupid Elton John looking motherfucker. Little wing for a hat. Fucking gay boy. Weird ass pendant. Dumb glasses. What, are you fucking blind? No, he isn't actually. It's interesting that the R in English part is wrong. It's interesting that the R in English is wrong. Okay, again, fuck all of you. I don't know why I have such a different opinion on this game, on these games than everyone else, but fucking, I love this mechanic. It's just an extra little, like, bit where you can catch someone. It's just an extra little, like, snap, you know? The joy of Phoenix Wright comes from those moments where you can say fucking gotcha. Objection! There's a reason why that's so powerful, why people like it. But apparently if everyone, like, so this mechanic is just more of that. But there's this extra, but now it's almost like, this right here in particular, like this one, was totally on the player. Like, they told you, like, okay, you're gonna need it now, but it was totally on the player to find out which one to use it on, and to find the bit, whether to look at her or to look at him. I wonder if she's actually also lying. I wonder if she's also got something. So, oh, so hold on, this is interesting. She's not lying. She's not lying. This is interesting. This is an interesting layer to it. She's not lying right now. But this motherfucker. Gotcha! Gotcha! Machi. You can't fool my eyes. You glanced towards her the very moment Lemuel said the word English. Why? And don't bother interpreting that. He understands me. Machi, tell the truth. You can understand English, can't you? But what are you saying? Of course he can't. Must he continue this charade? Mr. Justice, Machi says this. I know the word English. Wait, did I get trapped? Oh, did I just get wrecked? Hold on. If I got played, that's funny. Huh? Huh? Before coming to this country, he heard me speaking English. He learned the name for this language, that is all. What? Give me a break! Is that such an unusual word to understand? Do you not know Espanol, for instance? Well, yeah, but... I'm sorry, but he truly does not understand your language. Well, then explain this! How does he know the crime followed the lyrics? Have you always been such a suspicious-minded lad? It is simple. So simple it hardly requires an explanation. He read about it in the newspaper. The newspaper? The Bosnian Daily Bugle. You can buy it in these countries these days, you know? They have already begun to report about this case in our homeland. Right. What is wrong, Mr. Justice? Your eyes, they are quite fierce all of a sudden. Machi is lying. Maybe it's time to show him proof that he's lying. Wait, am I not getting played? I don't know. Am I not getting played? Haha! We win! Woo! Oh, I'm getting a celebratory cookie.
Machi to buy is a menace. I want pictures of Machi to buy.
Take that! I have here a Virginian newspaper. The Virginian Daily Bugle, as a matter of fact. Indeed, there is a feature article about the case. Could you read this for me, Matchy? That's right. It doesn't mention the lyrics. What is this all about? Sorry, Matchy. You couldn't have read about the lyrics in a Virginian newspaper. Holy shit. Don't you love it when you make your case harder on yourself?
What does this mean?
But I don't see how it's possible. I know. He must have heard the lyrics when the police were doing the questioning. Yes.
That's possible. The subject of the lyrics was not brought up in police questioning. I read the full report myself. So lyrics weren't in the newspaper, and the police didn't mention them. The only place you could have heard them was in this courtroom. In English, no less.
The witness will explain himself.
But he says,
Yes?
it is true I read the newspaper, but this is not what I learned of the lyrics. I was mistaken. Now I remember.
You remember?
He says he heard of the lyrics from me.
What?
Is this true, Lamiwar?
Yes, I'm afraid I had forgotten it myself.
Said it looks like our forehead's been jumping to conclusions again.
It seems so, yes.
No. I was onto something, I know it. I can't let this chance slip away.
Time is an issue today, Mr. Justice. Are you finished with the cross-examination?
What are you gonna do, Apollo?
If I'm gonna keep on cross-examining, I better have an angle of attack. Or else. My bracelet's still reacting. Your Honor, please allow me to continue.
If you must, you must. Very well, witness.
Oh my god. I hate this guy's voice. I hate doing the voice. I hate doing the judge. I hate everything about the judge.
I understand. It was I who explained that crime followed the song.
I'm just gonna go right for it. Sorry, bitch. Gotcha. Can't hide that from me. But that means that someone explained the song. But who? Lamiwar, I'm currently cross-examining Matchy. Why should you be uncertain?
Me? Uncertain?
Yes, you swallowed the very moment you told the court. It was I who explained.
I see there is little point in trying to hide anything from me.
Lamiwar, are you indeed protecting someone?
That is not a question with a simple answer. To tell the truth, I do not believe it myself.
Then allow me to answer for you. Lamiwar, you're protecting... Here's the thing. The fact that they're giving me an option here gives me pause. No. I don't think she's protecting Matchy. Well, let's think this one through. You know how I think okay, here's the thing. Lying about who, so what she's lying about right now is who told him the lyrics. Not the fact that because if she's arguing that he does know the lyrics, which doesn't protect him. It does not protect what's his fucking name? Machi, because it still implicates him for knowing the lyrics. Who she's trying to protect is whoever taught him the lyrics, which would either be Letus or Darian. The two people who are currently part of the crime. Wait a second. It's Darian. Darian's behind it. Darian. No, listen. Darian is the one who wanted the whatever the fuck it's called to help the Chief Justice's son. It explains why an Interpol agent was here. It explains why he killed the Interpol agent. Because you have to keep in mind, not only do we have to find out a motive as well. That's important. And so far, we only have two people who could have killed him. And that would be Darian and this guy. Except we know whoever used the gun is a smart old cookie. And he knows how to use the gun. I don't know. I'm gonna go with Darian. I'm gonna go with Darian. Using guns isn't hard. Using a 45 caliber pistol that would dislocate your shoulder if you didn't know how to use it, that's fucking hard. It makes more sense than lying about the lyrics. The audio for the game, it does that when in this thing. I'm gonna say Darian. Fuck it. If I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Okay, I'm wrong. Is she really defending Machi? Wait, hold on a fucking second. Do they really need me to... Fuck you, game. Every time I start complimenting you, you just come at me with some dumb shit. Why did you need... No. There is no reason for them to make you... The only reason I was thinking about it is because they gave me an option. It makes no fucking sense for me to have to say, oh, she's protecting Machi. Like, fuck you, game. Be back eating a fucking coping cookie. I still think it's Darian, for the record. He's the only person who could have done it. Let me war, you were protecting Machi. That's why you lied and told us that you had explained how the crime followed the song. I don't fault you for trying to help, but this is not the way. Machi! I believe you didn't do it. Really, I trust you. But you've lied to us twice. And now you have Lamiwar lying on your behalf. If this is going to work, you have to trust me too. Your two lies cover a simple truth. You understand English. You have to. Ah!
Witness, is this true? Do you understand English?
Yeah, yes. A little. Only.
What?
First he could see, now he can talk. And you did not know about this, Lamiwar?
No, I did not. It is quite a surprise.
How many secrets is this witness hiding?
Last. This is last.
Machi, could you tell us what really happened?
No shooting. I did no shooting.
So you weren't in the dressing room when I heard those 2 gunshots, correct? Apparently, the answer to that question isn't simple either.
I was in dressing room, behind desk. Manager, he on floor.
Which would be after the shooting, right?
Then there is voice.
Voice or voices? Was it you and Emma, Apollo? So when Machi went into the dressing room, Mr. Letus had already been shot. And then we came to the door.
Panel high up, I take off. Run away, run away.
So it was you who escaped through that air vent. Ha ha ha! As the prosecution was held all along, no less. The defendant has admitted to his being at the scene. Might we take this as a confession? Objection! No! He's clearly denied that he did it.
I no shooting. Manager on floor, already on floor.
The victim had already been shot, you say? I find that hard to believe. The defendant understood the song lyrics. He was at the scene of the crime. This can only mean one thing. He is the shooter.
Does the defendant have anything to say to this?
He's climbed up, Apollo.
Then let's ask Mr. Justice. Will you require any further testimony from the witness?
Is there nothing else I can get him to testify about? Wait, no. Of course there is.
What is this cocoon anyway? The cocoon, the silk is a potent cure.
A cure? Well, Machi, are you a smuggler?
He won't tell me.
That cocoon has to have something to do with this. Machi, please, tell us the truth for your own sake.
No more speak, not to any of you.
So much for your precious trust there, forehead. Hey, if you were the one who didn't believe him. Regardless, this brings us to an impasse.
It does seem that the defendant and defense and defendant are at odds. I doubt we are likely to learn anything more of value should this continue.
So the lyrics are relevant because they foretell the entire murder. Gavin's keys were stolen. When you stole away the keys, my heart held on to so tight. His keychain is in the form of a heart. Pleasure, pleasure, but a fleeting melody. It wraps itself around me, and now through the air I fly. That's not relevant, at least as far as we know right now. Burning on in my heart, fire. Burn my love away, all away. The fire burned. Like a bullet of love, fire. Take my life away, all away. It was a fucking gun. Guitar, guitar, up together to the sky. We found the after the whole thing happened, we went back to find the body gone. We found the body gone, and when we finally found it, this stage had been raised up to its maximum height, and the body was lying with the guitar in his hands. Darian's guitar. And Machi Tobai was next to him. Guitar, up together to the sky.
As you know, the course would declare a 5-minute recess. The defense will work things out with the defendant so that we might proceed.
July 10th, 1123, District Court, Defendant Lobby, number 2.
Apollo Eustace.
It's justice. Better learn how to say it if you ever want to get some.
Believe I know shooting. Apollo Eustace.
Machi claims Letus was already on the ground when he entered the room.
Maybe it was a trap and he walked right into it? Suddenly I hear a revolver, close, very close. Then I hear a voice.
You heard gunshots?
Yes, it's true. I hear a revolver, but only sound.
Wait, you're saying you went to the dressing room and found Miss Letus already dead and then you heard shots? That's true.
So you were at the scene of the crime when you heard those shots?
You escaped through the air vent.
I know.
Someone's knocking on my fucking door. Or not my door, my wall. Huh? What do you know? It's not necessarily my fault. Well, the murder wasn't my fucking fault.
I know if I open the vent, I can leave stage and backstage.
So the vents went to both the stage and the backstage area. Is that what he means?
Hey, he's right. Look, Apollo.
Huh? Yeah. But how did you know it was connected like that?
Wait, I bet his father was the architect that designed the hall or something. I hear this from magician.
Try and get the voice down. Magician.
Don't look at me.
Magician, huh?
Well, at least we're clear on one thing. Machi didn't shoot Mr. Letus.
Yeah, but what does that leave us with? We're supposed to say he went to the room to find the body and then he heard the shots? That one's gonna go over well in court. Not. Got him.
Apollo, you're his defense. You're supposed to believe whatever he says, even lies.
That's what Daddy always told me. I'll just pretend you misheard him. Every time. So, what do we do?
You sure won't testify? You're sure you won't testify, Machi? I'm not talking. No.
Yeah, well, it's worth a shot. That cocoon.
I can't go home. Can't go home? I can't go home to Virginia. I do not want to go home. The penalty for taking a cocoon from Virginia is death.
That's right, it's punishable by death. Of course, he's scared. Oh well, I guess we'll just have to try a different approach.
That's the spirit, Apollo. So what's your plan?
If Machi won't testify about it, we'll have to get someone else to testify.
Someone else?
I think we're out of time. Let's get back in there.
Right.
Darian.
Court is now back in session. Mr. Justice, have you sorted things out with the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. We had a good talk.
Very well, so will you testify?
Your Honor, the defendant will not testify.
Well, what?
Shame, and here I thought this was your big chance to turn this case around. Actually, it is. The defense would like to approach this case from a different angle, Your Honor.
A different angle?
If Machi won't testify, then I know who will. I would like to cross-examine the witness in this case, Lamiawar. Oh shit, I thought we were gonna go for Darian. Come on! Why the fuck is that? Darian, fuck all y'all. Fuck you, Nick. You tell me that Darian isn't highly fucking suspicious? Really? We actually have plenty of foundation to lead to Darian. We have plenty of foundation to lead to Darian. He had a microphone. I don't give a shit whether I'm still in the case ahead of the game. I've got fucking... Okay, fuck you. Fuck both of you. Fuck all of you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck all of you. He's already been implicated as suspicious. He's the fucking murderer. Fuck you. I don't care. I don't care if I'm solving the case ahead of the game. I'm fucking 2 steps ahead, and it's never a good thing, but I like doing it anyways. Fuck you. Ah! Let me be ahead of the game, for fuck's sakes. Okay.
Lamiwar?
What are you up to now? I thought we determined yesterday that Lamiwar's testimony was unsubstantial. There is nothing you can... Lamiwar was taken to the hospital yesterday with injuries.
But what happened?
She was assaulted, Your Honor.
Assaulted?
Someone wanted Lamiwar dead. Thankfully, she was able to save herself.
What? I've heard no such report.
Prosecutor Gavin, why would anyone be out to kill Lamiwar? Can you think of a reason?
Well,
think of how she is known in our country. A singer from overseas who doesn't speak English, yes? Yet someone tried to keep her mouth shut. Who could that have been?
you don't think...
I do. It was the same person who shot Mr. Letus. The killer was afraid of her, afraid of what she might say. The defense believes that something was hidden in her testimony yesterday. Something that the killer doesn't want getting out. So am I to understand what this is you are trying to say? Namely, that there is a nugget of truth in Lamiwar's testimony. A nugget we have yet to uncover? Exactly.
If Lamiwar was attacked, this has serious implications. Very well. There were some vague points in her testimony during yesterday's trial. Perhaps we did not inquire as deeply as we might have into some. The court will hear Lamiwar's testimony once more.
Lamiwar, I must apologize. I must ask you to stand again and speak.
You need not apologize. I know that Machi is innocent, and I will do all that I can until the court realizes this.
Let's review your testimony from yesterday. You told us you heard 2 gunshots and the shooter's voice through the window, and that the voice belonged to Darian Crescent, yes?
That is correct.
At which point I proved she could not be correct. She couldn't have heard any of those things. The small window at the scene was closed and was found to be quite soundproof.
You have nothing to say to that, Mr. Justice?
I don't know exactly what yet, but I do know there's something there. There is, it seems. Much you do not know.
Yet it is my duty to hear him out. Perhaps the witness would be so kind as to testify once more to the court.
Of course, Your Honor.
Fucking shit, I can't speak. What I heard.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. That's when I heard them, Mr. Letus and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and it then stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. There was a smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window.
Pretty much the same as yesterday's testimony.
I'm sorry. I'm not used to speaking much in this language. Perhaps my descriptions are lacking in some way. Yet everything I have said here is the truth.
Then it is my distinct displeasure to say this. What you have said to have happened is impossible. Do I have to repeat myself? Lamiwar was attacked because of this testimony. What? Trucy?
Apollo, you know, for a moment there, you were pretty cool.
Oh! Oh! Oh, that was oh! Oh, that was so wholesome. Oh, that's adorable. Ah! I fucking love Trucy. I don't love her more than Maya. Maya's definitely the... Okay, let me make something clear. Okay, I think Maya's better in general because she just objectively is. But I do think Trucy's like the perfect fit for Apollo. I really do. I think she's awesome for Apollo. She can fuck off though. Maya's still the best. Cause come on, look. Maya has magical fucking powers. Trucy's just got fucking Mr. Hat, who comes out of her cooch or something. Oh, that was so wholesome. I want to see that scene again. Maybe I do better when I don't try to think ahead.
Very well, Mr. Justice. Perhaps you can coolly cross-examine the witness.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit.
I heard Mr. Letus and the detective. I heard the faint sound of a gunshot and then stopped. Then I heard another gunshot. It was the smell of gunpowder. I knew I must tell someone, but I was in a hurry, so I kept moving past the small window. Lamioir was attacked because of this testimony. I know she was, so something's got to be hidden here.
Maybe there's some detail we're missing?
I guess we'll just have to get her to fill in the blanks.
Right.
You are right, but barely any magical powers is basically no magic powers. So, fuck you. There were 2 gunshots.
Yes, I heard two. One after the other.
That fits in with the bullet holes of the scene. Nothing really new here to pick up. This is interesting. Why didn't you tell someone immediately?
If it were me, I would have gone to the police right away. It's our duty as citizens.
This may be beside the point, but Lamioir isn't a citizen. So one would hope such common sense prevails in Bosnia as well. Lamioir seems awfully quiet all of a sudden. That's strange. Could she be hiding something?
Just as you say it at the time.
You were in a hurry to go where?
I was on my way to the backstage exit, as I have said.
Why were you in such a hurry then?
Well, I don't think that has anything to do with this case.
It very well might. Please answer the question. Are you alright, Lamioir?
Yes, I'm just tired.
Recall what I told you yesterday, Forehead. Lamioir suffers from a serious amnesia. Please refrain from traumatizing her further. What, so we can just dismiss questions he thinks are too traumatizing? Why don't you prove her reason had a connection to the case before asking about it, yeah? So it's definitely that part. She's fucking blind. Wait. She wouldn't know about the small window. No, the window is in the dressing room. But she wouldn't know about the window, or more specifically, she wouldn't know that she was near to the window. Maybe. But she wouldn't know if she would already passed by the window. That's the thing. She's blind, right? Or presumably, who fucking knows at this point? She wouldn't know where the window was. And whether or not she had already moved past it by the time this all happened.
Is something wrong?
I raised an objection, but she's saying the same thing she said before. Really? That was dumb. Darian Crescend?
I did not know his name at the time, but yes, it was him, the one who took the stand yesterday.
How many times do I need to remind you that that's impossible? There is no way you could have heard him. Because the window at the scene was closed? Is that why? Of course.
Oh, if we keep asking the same questions as yesterday, we won't get anywhere.
She's right. Maybe there's a different angle I can try? Did you happen to hear anything else at that time?
Anything else?
Anything else besides the victim and the shooter's conversation? Anything at all? That's quite a vague question.
It's in the conversation I heard the clock ticking, the two men breathing, footsteps. That is all.
Nothing new there as expected? Nope. Really? No? Fucking god damn it. Whatever, man. Lemuar, do you by any chance remember what they were saying to each other? If so, please tell us.
I give it what's the reflection, but
I was afraid of this. She doesn't remember.
I only heard one phrase clearly.
A whole phrase. You remember something that was said? Why didn't you say anything yesterday?
So my memory is clear. I was afraid to speak. You see, I do not understand what was said.
This could be the clue we've been waiting for. I have to take a poopy. I gotta take a peepee. What did he say?
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Letus.
The shooter then. Darian Crescend. What did he say?
It's over. Press the switch now.
Was this an attempted act of terrorism? Maybe he made a slight against the Chinese government and committed suicide.
Switch? And the shooter said this to the victim, Mr. Letus.
I thought it quite strange myself afterward.
It is a mystery. What could it possibly mean? Mr. Justice, care to shed some light on this?
I mean, sure, I'd be delighted. It's very, very vital. Maybe we could add that to the testimony? Maybe, Apollo? Press the switch. There's only one key that can unlock the mystery of those words. Oh? Yes, there was nothing at the scene that could be called a switch. Saves the lights. True, there wasn't a switch at the scene. But it just so happens I have a switch right here.
That certainly does look like a switch, doesn't it?
The problem is, this was found not at the scene of the crime, but on the stage.
The stage?
Where the concert was held, yes. This was found hidden there. On the stage.
Are you claiming that the voice Lemuar heard was of someone commanding another to press the switch?
It's a possibility. Objection! Or I have forehead. Or a forehead, I'd call that an impossibility. Why? It's hardly necessary to remind the court of the layout of the concert forum. The stage was quite far from Lemuar's dressing room. Not to mention that the governors were in the middle of a concert on said stage. We aren't known for being a quiet band. You could shout all you wanted and not be heard.
The detective's voice was loud, but certainly not a shout.
So two of our foreheads cries of possibility fall and fall short of being heard. Sorry, but he wouldn't have needed to shout. Excuse me? You heard what I said, or do you need me to shout it out for you? It would have been quite simple to be heard on the stage from that dressing room. Oh wait, you'd like evidence, don't you? How about this? Using this, it would be easy to get a message to someone on stage from the dressing room. Prosecutor Gavin, perhaps you're familiar with this? Why, that's...
Well, what is it? Is this that some kind of newfangled phone they invented while I wasn't looking?
This is a type of transmitter, a communications device.
Communications device?
From what I've heard that night, everyone on stage was wearing one of these. Isn't that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes, actually, yeah, for talking between band members. You all had one on? So you admit that if you were wearing one of these, talking from the backstage to the stage would be simple. True, but wait, those send out an electronic signal. To avoid interference with the audio systems, their range is quite limited. Lemmy said it was about 30 feet, right? Look at this cross-section diagram of the concert forum, then. Ah, exactly. The walk from the stage to the backstage seems far, but the direct distance is less than 30 feet. That can't be.
So when Lemuel heard the shooter's voice, he could have been talking to someone on the stage.
Ha! You're claiming this is the switch in question? Why did it have to be on the stage at the time? It could be placed in a pocket and carried anywhere. Someone could have hit it on the stage after the fact. Hey, he's got a point. How do we know where it was when she heard the voice? When the shooter said press the switch? Well, I guess we don't.
An unfortunate situation. Therefore, all of the things you just brought up is completely irrelevant, and I will now forget it. Because this game is retarded. I'm afraid that until we know where the switch was, there's little point in debating it.
Ugh. I was sure this was the way to go with this. What is this switch anyway? We don't even know that basic fact. Wait a second. I do know what the switch is. And if you follow that train of logic to its incredible conclusion, it ends up in proof that it completely changes this case. What's up, Apollo? Apollo? We know about the switch, right? We know what it is. Yeah? Well, think of when it was used that day. Think of what happened.
Well, Mr. Justice, if you have no further information to share concerning this switch...
Your Honor?
Yes, Mr. Justice?
I've been remiss in not telling the court this before. I know what this switch is.
Well, it seems the defense is set upon linking this switch to the case. Let's see your evidence of the link. What evidence do you have to explain what the switch is?
Prosecutor Gavin, you remember this? That's...
That what? Is it another one of those newfangled phones?
This is an igniter. The phone looks like this.
Igniter? You mean that it's like a lighter?
Yes, actually. You aren't saying this switch is a remote? I am. This is a remote trigger for an igniter. What? Look, I'll show you.
Yo, Mr. Justice, you will cease and desist from burning on this courtroom.
Sorry, that was a bit more fire than I'd expected.
Even my whiskers had caught on fire.
Prosecutor Gavin, let me repeat myself. This switch is a remote igniter trigger. Doesn't that suggest something to you? You're talking about what happened to me, aren't you? Ah! Exactly. That night at the concert, there was one unusual burst of flame. When your guitar caught fire in the middle of your performance.
Wasn't a part of the stage show then?
Prosecutor Gavin was entirely unaware that such a thing had been planned, and the guitar that burned was a valuable keepsake. That's right, he got it in Virginia from Lemuel. He said the sound was amazing, before it burned, of course. Now it's just kind of smokes. The better the guitar, the brighter it burns. Oh, forehead. Yes? Don't tell me you're trying to tie these two things together. Those being the shooter's voice heard by Lemuel, and the guitar suddenly catching on fire. The death occurred in the second act. Maybe. What if, did it? Okay, what? Okay, hold on. Crackpot theory time. What if the death happened in the second act? So it's being tied to the second. I feel like we're tying this to the second act right now. So either her testimony happened during the second act, which I don't think is true because that would just make it useless for us, or the death happened in the second act. And the thing, I don't know. We'll see. It's really simple when you think about it. Mr. Laytus and the shooter were at the crime scene. The shooter was wearing a headset. He ordered someone on stage to press the switch. The switch was pressed and the guitar caught fire.
Well, that doesn't seem to make sense. There's something about it is bugging me. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Really? It seems pretty simple to me. Yeah, forehead. Don't destroy what little respect I have for you. I was expecting something a little more sensible. I guess I was wrong.
What's this all about, Prosecutor Gavin?
A simple story simply makes no sense. Think that night my guitar caught fire, yes? The cause may have been this indeed. However, the guitar caught fire during the second set. Ah, that's right, of course. The guitar caught fire during Let Me War's song. Indeed, yet the shooting happened during the third set. The two are utterly unrelated.
Yes, that must have been what was bugging me. The whole premise for this is faulty.
See, his story makes no sense. Are you sure about that?
What exactly do you mean, Mr. Justice?
Maybe it's not the premise for my explanation of the switch that's at fault. Maybe it's our premise for the entire case so far.
What premise is this specifically?
I'm glad you asked. I'm saying that maybe the killing didn't take place in the third act. What's this? But Detective Emma Sky heard shots and found the body. All of this happened in the third act. Gunshots rang out, and according to his testimony, Machi was in that dressing room at the time.
Where are you going with this, Mr. Justice?
Stay with me, Your Honor. He also told us this in his testimony, namely that the victim had already been shot. We all heard gunshots, but no one saw the shooting.
This is insane.
Just before the shooting took place, the shooter was heard on his headset, telling someone to press the switch. The next moment, Prosecutor Gavin's guitar burst into flame. We know that a remote triggered igniter was inside the guitar. From all these facts, we can only draw one conclusion. The crime did not take place during the third act, but during the ballad performance, the second act. What?
But that goes against the evidence.
What does, Your Honor?
This crime was carried out according to the lyrics of that song, yes?
Hey, he's right, look. The bullet is supposed to come after the fire. You're thinking about it the wrong way. Huh? Look. Why would the shooter craft the events of the day to follow the lyrics anyways? It's an awful lot of trouble to go through, with little merit for the person doing it.
Well, I'm sure whoever it was had some reason.
Yes, they did. A reason that made it advantageous to follow the lyrics. You're saying the order was reversed on purpose.
Reverse, Prosecutor Gavin.
Oh. Lyrics are backwards? Maybe? Hold on. If the criminal followed the lyrics strictly, then yes. The shooting would have had to come after the guitar burst into flame. Yet R4 had to raise another possibility. His claim is that the bullet came not after, but just before the fire. Couldn't have put it better myself. It's bits like that, where it's like, even though he's getting his ass, even though, like, the prosecution's getting thrown off case, in the previous games with Francesca, she would be, like, losing her shit right now. But, in this case, him and Gavin are starting to, like, team up and, like, work together and play off of each other. That's what I love about him as a prosecution, because he doesn't feel like an antagonist. He doesn't feel like someone I've got to fight against. He just feels like he's on the opposite side, and we're both working for the same goal. Kind of like yeah, exactly. I was just about to say, kind of like when Phoenix and Edgeworth kind of like when Phoenix and Edgeworth started to work together at the end of 2, not 1. It's very interesting to see a different type of prosecutor here. Gavin's just a good person from what we can tell, as opposed to his shit-eating brother. Actually, I don't know what's going on. Karma was not chaotic neutral. Karma was lawful. Maybe. Actually, it's hard to say. Karma was very much... I don't know. She was very... I don't know. Hard to say. I guess maybe chaotic. I don't know. Whatever. We were only meant to think that the shooting came after the guitar burst into flame. That was the criminal's objective. The crime followed the lyrics to a point, but that was a ruse. Why else would the killer risk discovery by moving the body? That was the final touch to make us think he'd follow the lyrics the whole way.
Order, order, order! That would explain this most unusual situation.
It does. The killer changed the order of events to create himself an alibi. So I'm gonna read this again. So, if we start with guitar, up together in the sky. Up together to the sky. They go up together. Then the... Stole the keys after? Okay, hold on. We'll see where this goes. We'll see where this goes. In other words, the killer was someone who had an alibi for the third set, but not the second. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but sadly, it has. Let me tell you why your little fairy tale makes no sense at all. Oh, it sounds good, I'll give you that. You've given us a reason why the killer bothered following the lyrics of my song. But I question your logic. For it's flawed from the very beginning. Flawed? Yes, a contradiction in our forehead. One I've pointed out several times, no less. At the time of the crime, the small window at the scene was closed. How could Lamiwa have heard a voice through it? Ah. I know that you would like to divert our attention from this critical fact, but you're basing your entire line of reasoning on a false premise. Right. Lamiwa testimony is my entire case. That voice she heard, the shooter's voice. Well, what if she couldn't hear it, Apollo? Look, what do we have? A man saying press the switch, and near the crime scene we have a switch, which acts as a remote trigger for an igniter. And last but not least, Prosecutor Gavin's flaming guitar. It can't all be a coincidence, but how do I make it work? I see a more direct line of questioning is required. When the crime scene was investigated immediately after the crime, that window was closed. Care to tell us how Lamiwa heard the voice?
A key point, to be sure. Mr. Justice, can you explain this to the court?
Okay, Justice, you've got one thing to prove and one thing only. Lamiwa heard a voice, and she heard it during the second set. Think, how is Lamiwa able to hear the voice? She has divine hearing! But that is not true. We know she is somewhere else. The reason she was rushing to get past the building was because she had to be there for the performance. The first one we see is not Lamiwa. That's not Lamiwa. Hold on, I think I just noticed something. Brooch. Watching the close up. No Brooch. Fucking Brooch. First of all, Brooch is missing. Second of all, her eyes are open. Here. Maybe even implying that she could see. Actually, here's a really good explanation that I don't think the game is even considered. Blind people are very sensitive to light. It's why blind people usually wear sunglasses. It's because their eyes are already weak and they can't handle light. There's a fucking stage light shining directly into her face. A blind person just can't fucking do that. Now, it's important to note that I really don't think that... It's possible. It's totally possible that she's trained for it. But I think it's more likely that it's just not a thing. Her eyes seem to be looking in different places. Seem to be looking. Besides, who could pull off that trick but a fucking magician? And again, I mean, you can train for it, but I don't know if you've actually been on a stage, Nick, with a light blaring down on you, but it is fucking bright. When we investigated the scene, the window was closed. The shooter had no reason to close it had it been open either, meaning it was impossible to hear the voice through that window. It's good to hear you making sense again. For a moment, I was afraid you might be a Bojinian too. As I was saying, Lamiroir could not hear the voice through that window, so there can only be one explanation. She heard the voice from another location entirely.
Well, what's this?
You do amuse me so. And here I thought you and Good Sense were back on speaking terms. Now I'm afraid you and Good Sense speak two entirely different languages. Shall I interpret for you, Airforehead? Lamiroir clearly stated she heard the voice through that small window, as there is only one small window at the scene. Are you sure? Think about it. Isn't there another small window at the scene? There is?
Well, I know that look. He wants us to ask him. Very well, you claim Lamiroir heard the voice from another location. Mr. Justice, show us where this location was.
Lamiroir heard the voice from here. I'm going to assume the door, right? No, it would be crazy to hear that from the vent.
Does this look like a small window to you, Mr. Justice?
The state of oh fuck. Anything can be a window in our society. Okay. The vent doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe you do. Maybe she does. Why? I just don't understand why. I don't understand how the vent would have. I just don't know how she would have heard the vent. Oh, I don't think I can even touch the vent. That? No. It would be insane for this to be the vent they're talking about, because I can't even, like, directly target it. That's the window. Here's a good here. Okay, here's how I'm gonna try to think about it. What would a blind person consider to be a window? Sure, tell me. So it is the vent, this one here? I'm surprised. Okay. I can live with that. It just seems like this would be really hard to catch on. It just seems like this would be really hard to press. I think it's bad positioning, but that's just me. This is where Lamiwar heard that voice from.
But that's no small window. That's the air vent.
What did she tell us? She said she's a Borginian, unfamiliar with our language. It's not a stretch to imagine she called this air vent a small window. Now you've done it. Now you've gone beyond ridiculous and into ludicrous. I love that rapazo. So Lamiwar was up in the ventilation system listening to this man's voice. That's the only logical explanation. Yes. Logical. I do not think this word means what you think it means, forehead. Okay, what about it isn't logical? That hardly merits saying. Why would Lamiwar be in the ventilation system, hiding like a rat? No offense intended to her, of course. The explanation for that is simple, Prosecutor Gavin. Isn't it, Lamiwar? You have been listening to our discussion here, yes?
Yes, I admitted that it's had me quite confused since yesterday. Yes, a small window was closed. But why should that mean I could not hear through it? I fear the prosecutor might himself need an interpreter.
Yeah! Brom hears words. Lamiwar, this small window through which you heard the voice, was it up high on the ceiling of the room, not low on a wall?
Yes, it was up on the ceiling.
What? I don't believe this is blanket, for the record.
Witness, you will clarify this statement to the court. Are you, in fact, saying that you were up above the ceiling of the room, and that's why you heard? That's where you heard the moment of the crime.
Yes, in fact, I was. I'm sorry, I never imagined it would become such an important point.
Yes, well, why the heck were you up there?
I believe it's time for another testimony.
I'm not sure, I can't.
May I remind you this is a murder trial. We will hear your testimony. Tell us why you witnessed the crime from above the ceiling of that room. Please.
Well, looks like I'm on the right track.
Yes, I was above the ceiling when I heard the voice. I'd heard there was a small window was there before. It was in the middle of my performance. I had no time to report what I'd heard. As to why I was there, I cannot say. I am bound to secrecy on this matter.
Oh, so it wasn't the magician. Interesting.
But bound to secrecy?
In my line of work, one has many obligations to uphold.
But you say we're in the middle of your performance. So this did happen during the second set.
I did not witness the crime, you must understand. I only know what I heard.
Yes, but you must tell us what you were doing in detail.
That's what the cross-examination is for, yeah, forehead? Our mission in this court is to discern the truth. No obligation, no binding pact may hinder that mission.
Very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
What are you gonna do, Paulo? Gonna find out the truth. She was up above that ceiling for a reason. I just have to get it out of her. Big yawn. I heard there was a small window there before. It's in the middle of my performance. I know You heard the gunshots during the second set, during your performance. No. Oh, okay. That's when the brooch fell down. That's when the brooch fell down. She has her brooch when she leaves the stage. She runs along. Brooch is missing. It falls down through the grate into the room. That's why it was on the ground and why she didn't have it in the second part. Boom, we're done. Out of here. You're quite sure?
Yes, why would I lie about the time?
Why did you tell us this yesterday?
No one asked me. I thought you all knew. I told you Machi was not the killer. I told you this many times.
Yes, you did. But you never told us why.
I'm sorry. I was not able to speak of it.
Unable or unwilling?
She's not talking, Apollo. What do we do?
We just have to prove it ourselves. As long as she is bound by the Pact of Silence, she won't talk. But if I can prove why she was up there, she'll have to admit it.
But how are you going to do that? She was singing on the stage, Apollo. She couldn't have been up there above the ceiling, too.
Yes, she could. I've got a theory as to why, too. And maybe I've got the evidence to prove it. It takes some hard-hitting proof to make her talk. I think I know why she was up there. But how do I prove it? Oh, I thought the last one was the... Okay. Objection! Let me war, truth be told, the reason for your presence above that ceiling is quite clear, especially when you consider what happened during your performance.
What happened?
Yes, it's all right here on this video. So interesting. The ignition happens before she goes down. Therefore, there was a second ignition that was meant to happen. Or maybe, I don't know. As we can see, Lamiwar was clearly not on stage for her entire performance. Though it saddens me to be so realistic, Lamiwar is incapable of actually vanishing, let alone teleportation. So the only explanation is that she was hidden from view, and during that time she was moved to the back of the forum.
Apollo!
What, Trucy?
It's not nice to reveal a magician's secrets, and it's against the rules!
But I'm a lawyer. I'm not supposed to be nice.
This is all very fascinating, but how is it possible? There's only 20 seconds between when she disappears and reappears. She couldn't have moved that fast. Is something wrong, Prosecutor Gavin?
This was his concert. His show. He knows how the illusion was performed.
Aha!
He's just realizing his own oversight. Let's look at the cross-section diagram again. Here we can trace a route through the ceiling. It goes from the stage, through the backstage, to the rear of the forum. Recall Lamiwar's testimony from yesterday.
I was on my way from the stage to the backstage exit. There was something like a little window there. That's how I saw it.
She went from the stage to the backstage exit. A perfect description of this route above the ceiling.
Lamiwar knew of this because of her part in the illusion, but she wasn't the only one who knew.
What?
Just now in the lobby match, he told me something.
I know. I know if I open the vent, I can leave stage and backstage.
He said that?
Oh, were you not informed, Prosecutor Gavin?
I knew about the vanishing act, of course, yet I had no idea of the routes that would be used. Why didn't that musician tell me?
Magicians only reveal details of their acts on a need-to-know basis. They're the bread and butter of a magician's life, you know.
Which is why he bound Lamiwar to secrecy. Well, Lamiwar?
I'm impressed, Mr. Attorney. Machi was right about you.
So what does this mean? Are you saying you used this route above the ceiling?
I did.
Well, that's that, but I'm still a little confused.
Why is that, Your Honor?
As I said before, there was very little time between when she disappeared and when she reappeared. 20 seconds, tops. How could she do it so fast? Especially if she stopped to hear the shooter's voice.
That's a good question.
Can the witness explain this to the court?
I cannot.
Very well, Mr. Justice.
Yes?
It's all up to you. Do your thing.
What thing, Your Honor?
You need to explain how Lemuel was able to teleport like she did, or I'm throwing your case out with the bathwater.
Why do I get picked on? It's Lamiwar who isn't going along with the program here.
As I've stated before, I am not at liberty to speak of the illusion that night in detail.
Then you'll just have to tell us what you can. We'll hear your testimony on this. Mr. Justice, it will be your job to wring the truth out of her.
Yes, if you would, please.
Right. I feel like a student before finals.
Good luck, Apollo.
Yeah, so... Okay, yes, it would take time for it to burn. The problem is that they said they had to press the igniter second. What I'm thinking is this may be an act of terrorism. Why would there be an igniter underneath the chair? We also have to remember that the igniter was on stage. Or at least was hidden in the piano. There's a lot here.
I followed the route exactly as I was instructed. There is an emergency exit on the backstage where our stagehand waited. From there, no one can enter the forum on the opposite side of the stage. The plan was for me to move there in 2 minutes. I was on my way when I heard the voice.
Move there in 2 minutes?
2 minutes, you say? The mystery deepens.
Suppose it was too much to hope that the judge would come up with something.
As does my curiosity. Take it away, Mr. Justice.
Right, Your Honor. All I have to do is find the contradiction between what Lamirar is saying and what we can see plainly in the video.
I figured it out already. I'm a magician after all.
Well, tell me.
Not a chance. I can't reveal another magician's secrets. Come on.
Hey, you're supposed to be on my side here. 2 minutes.
Yes, it can be done in 1 minute if you are running.
Running in that cramped, dark tunnel above the ceiling.
Aha, Mr. Attorney, have you forgotten? Dark or lit, it makes no difference to me.
Ah, that's true, but...
So you're saying that on the night of the concert, you made the trip in 2 minutes?
Yes, though I nearly didn't make it in time. You see, I stopped halfway.
Amiwar disappears on the video for 20 seconds, but she says she made the trip in 2 minutes. How?
If you want my professional opinion, I'll put the answers right there in that video.
Well, Mr. Justice, perhaps you have some evidence for us? Something that can explain the discrepancy between the video and her testimony.
Evidence explaining the discrepancy? There's the problem with the brooch is it doesn't explain the discrepancy. The brooch being there doesn't tell us whether it was 20 seconds or 2 minutes. Oh, I can't present that. Fucking hell. Good. Good water. I just don't understand how the brooch does anything for us. But again, like, it doesn't describe the discrepancy. It just says that she went there, which we know, but it doesn't explain how she got how the discrepancy occurs in the video. By the way, as if it's not another, as if we need more evidence to believe it's Darian, the only person who's told us who the IPXX number belongs to is Darian, who easily could have lied about this. Alright, I'll go with the brooch. There's one piece of evidence that explains the discrepancy between video and testimony. Lemiwar, do you happen to remember this brooch? I just don't understand what it is that caused the discrepancy. I don't know how this brooch proves that. But I do agree with Chris, like, it's the only contradiction. We saw that yesterday, did we not? It was found at the scene, Your Honor. And you're bringing this up now, why? I thought we had already determined when that was dropped. So did I, but we hadn't. Take another look at the video. What the ever-loving fuck is this? What's that thing in the bottom right corner? What? That looks adorable. Look at him. He's got like a tuxedo on. Little fucker's hiding. It's D Killer. Oh. Here you can see she's wearing the brooch.
So she is.
Let's take a look a bit later. That doesn't show in the original video. That's zoomed a lot farther out.
The brooch is gone. What?
Yes. The brooch disappeared in the short space of 20 seconds, and it takes a full minute to run from the stage to the backstage. Which means there can only be one explanation. The Lemuar we see before the Vanishing Act and the Lemuar we see after are two different people. I think I get it. The first Lemuar, as I said before, is fake. Yeah, no, it's definitely it's Valant. Yeah, no, the first Lemuar is fake. I just don't think it necessarily explains the time difference. I just don't think that works. That doesn't sound. That just doesn't really. It doesn't. I don't know. The brooch was found on the floor at the crime scene, and not just on the floor, but on the floor directly beneath the air vent. Well, a little bit to the side, but you know. Lemuar, tell me, did you drop the brooch on your way from the stage to the backstage at the very moment you witnessed the crime?
Yes, I think I did.
From your expression, I gather you had no idea that this was the case, Your Judge. I, of course, knew about it.
What?
Don't get me wrong, I wasn't hiding it. It just never occurred to me that the switch and the shooting took place at the same time. So I was right. There was a switch. There was. Just before the stage's tower rose, Lemuar was replaced.
Well, we're on the subject. Let's just who was the replacement Lemuar?
Why is the man behind the illusion? Valant Gramarye. It was Gramarye? That's quite the illusion, but I still don't get one thing. This? The switch happened before the tower rose, correct? So you weren't on the stage.
That's right, but this
fake Lemuar is still singing, and she's pretty good.
That's true.
Come on, Apollo, that's an easy one. They were just playing a recording. The governor's on some kind of air guitar band, Farlene. Oh, you mean I'm wrong? When we play a show live, we play live, no recordings. Perhaps you can explain, Lemuar?
Very well.
Yes, do tell and add it to your testimony.
I had to keep singing even while I moved.
You were singing?
Yes. Mr. Gavin expressed a dislike for recordings, so I used this.
Wait, so you were singing the whole time? Even when you were crawling above the ceiling towards the backstage?
I should admit wherever I sing, and everywhere I go is in the same darkness.
But if you were singing while you were walking...
That's right, wouldn't the shooter and victim have heard? She was singing right over their heads after all. That is right. Are you sure? You'd have to be pretty hard of hearing to miss someone singing in the ceiling. Once again, we come back to the state of the scene of the crime. What state? I know what he means! The old speaker, Apollo! The speaker? That speaker was blaring at the time of the murder. Now that's for monitoring the stage from this room. Monitoring? It pipes up on a real-time feed from the stage microphones. Useful for knowing when your set is coming up. Satisfied? That dressing room was fitted with a loudspeaker playing a direct feed from the stage. At my request, actually. So Lemuar singing in the ceiling sounded just like Lemuar singing over the speaker.
Ingenious, her voice was hidden by her voice.
Ah, Lemuar.
I've just remembered something.
Do tell.
When I heard the noise, the gunshot, yes, it startled me, so I stopped singing.
What?
I forgot the words I was supposed to sing.
The song stopped.
Thankfully, it was at the very beginning of the second verse. So not many would notice.
Forehead, that mixing board I lent you. Where is it? Wait, seriously? Hold on, I want to listen to this real quick. Oh, what line am I looking for? Sorry. Pleasure, pleasure, but a fleeting melody. Wow. Okay, this case is really back and forth for me because sometimes it pisses me off, but sometimes something subtle, so subtle as that, is really fucking impressive. Look, that's just cool. That's just in general like really fucking cool. Wahrheit, that mixing board I lent you. Where is it? The mixing? Huh? That machine, Apollo, the one that breaks music into tracks. Oh, this. I'd completely forgotten about it. Yeah, because it was a fucking... It's fucking contrived, but whatever. Let's take a listen. Okay, first of all, I bet you were gonna hear the gunshot. The song does stop there. But second of all, I wonder if someone's released like a video of them like doing the actual song. It does, I must have missed it. Look at the lyric sheet. At the top of the second verse, see where it says pleasure, pleasure? Now listen again. What's really interesting is that I tried to sing it, right? I tried to sing it, and I think that part, if you go back to listen to it, if you want to subject yourself to that again, I think I mess up on that part because, like, the beat's off.
This is evidence indeed. I believe we are guilty of making a terrible mistake.
The crime didn't happen during the third set. It happened during the second, during Lamiwar's ballad.
If that is true, then no one on stage during the second set could have been the shooter.
Which means that Darian Krishen could have done it. He wasn't on stage for the second set. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Fascinating. I don't believe I've ever seen a trial turned around quite so thoroughly. Yet one problem remains.
What is that, Prosecutor Gavin?
Forehead's theory does have a certain kind of logic to it. Yet it is entirely based upon Lamiwar's testimony.
Yes, is there a problem with this?
Well, it's quite simple. So it pains me to say it, what if she is lying to protect his defendant? But you have no proof! All I'm saying is that the truth is as yet unclear, until we hear directly from the man himself.
The man you don't mean?
Yes. Zoe is a friend and a band member. Darian Krishen must take the stand. I see no other way. Other way.
As someone with a new perspective on the case?
As a suspect, to be frank. Finally, the rat's coming out of his hole, and I'm ready to catch him. Darian Krishen, get ready for justice! Cords of steel!
This is as good as time around as I need to pause for a brief recess. The prosecution will summon the witness. Have him here and ready by the time we begin.
I'm the last man who needs to be reminded of what his duties are.
Very well, court is adjourned for a 15-minute recess.
Wait, can I play with the guitar Serenade now? Very interesting. I think we're going to continue because I feel like it's almost over. Maybe another hour left. So we are going to continue. Oh, nice. That right there. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. If I listen really carefully. Are you serious? That is so fucking clever. The drums cover up the sound. Okay. This is easily the best third case of any of the games so far. And I've got to be honest, I think this is really becoming one of my favorite cases. This is fucking clever. I don't know if maybe it's one of my favorite cases. I don't know. It's every new case is my new favorite case. But that's super fucking clever. You can just barely hear it. Because everything starts on that beat. Everything has something to play on that first beat. So everything together, you can barely hear it. I am fucking impressed. Fucking bravo. Seriously, that's so fucking cool.
Apollo, I can't believe it. It really happened during the second act? And right in the middle of Lamiwar's performance?
Why, she was in that air vent. And that switch and the flaming guitar. When you link it all together, that's all you end up with. I knew you had what it took. Oh, shit. I knew you had what it took.
Ah, Daddy!
Mr. Wright, you believed in me? Not really. Huh? I just thought that'd make a cooler entrance then. Say, hiya. Why do I even bother hoping?
Where have you been lately, Daddy? You haven't been coming to the office at all.
Sorry about that, Tracy. I'm on a secret mission.
Secret? You mean like you're undercover?
Like Mr. Laytoos, only shorter and not as well dressed.
Oh no, what if you're shot too, Daddy?
Would I do a thing like that to you? Anyway, I'm out for a short while again. Huh, you're leaving? Oh, one thing before I go. What? Good luck. Right. Is that all you came to say? I think you have things pretty much under control. You'll get Magic to buy off the hook, no doubt. Yeah, but you're after that detective, aren't you? Darn Crescent. Won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. The current court system? What did Prosecutor Gavin say during the trial? Your case is based on one fragile assumption. Namely, that our Diva Divine is telling the truth.
But what about all the proof? The brooch and the switch?
A piece of jewelry and a lyrical blunder? There are plenty of other ways to explain these things. Flaming guitar, too. All because you lack definitive proof of their connection to the case.
But
the sultry songstress is lying. Your case melts like butter in a frying pan, leaving behind the faintly singed scent of failure. So what do I do? Like I said, good luck. Be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Oh, that reminds me. I have something to give you from my detective friend.
Detective Sky? Emma?
Let's see, this bag of snacks here was meant for me. Ah, here it is.
Fuck is that? What are those, Daddy? They don't look like very good snacking material.
They're found at the scene. Analysis of the fragments revealed traces of gunpowder.
Gunpowder?
Probably a firecracker or something similar, like the one kids are into these days. These fragments were found under the sofa at the scene of the crime, actually. Under the sofa? No, it doesn't line up with the second gunshot because there's 2 bullets. Okay. What if What if it's forged evidence? Okay, yeah, Nick. Yeah, it's sure 2 firecrackers, except for the fact that there's fucking bullet holes in the wall. It's kind of hard to cover that up. Like, you kind of have to explain that one away. There are 2 bullet holes right here. Now, here's an idea. What if it's forged evidence? What if he's giving us forged evidence? But then why have a fucking firecracker? Like, what's the point of a firecracker? To draw people to the body? I don't know if you need to draw people to the body. That's not important. The body will be found. And in fact, you probably want as much time as possible between the body being found and the next body. Besides, who is there to draw to the body? Actually, you know what? No, hold on. Yeah, because if he shot in the second act, the third act would be when the gunshots go off to find... Yeah, no, you're right. You're totally right. Hey, Apollo. That's where we found that little device thingy. Right, this. Well, finally some evidence that makes sense. That's all for me, I suppose. See you after the verdict. Maybe. Right. Every man has an igniter inside him. Excuse me? Find Darian Krishen's igniter and set it off. And he walked out the door, just like a magician. Normally. What does he want us to do? No conventional methods? What does that mean? I guess we just have to take his advice and hope it makes sense when the time comes. I guess. We're almost at the finish line. Hang in there, Trucy. Okay, just a random thought. We have to get the evidence out of him by pissing him off, by just, like, pressing him a fuck ton of times. No conventional methods doesn't necessarily mean illegal methods. Just non-conventional.
Where is Detective Crescent?
In the witness lounge, ready to be called at any time. Very well. Might I add, I don't believe any of this. Darian was the first detective I ever worked with. We stopped working together when he moved to Criminal Affairs Division 3. But his guitar playing, it fires my imagination. That's nice, but it has nothing to do with the matter at hand. Correct? Oh, I know. Go ahead.
Very well, call the final witness to the stand. Detective Darian Crescent.
This is definitely it. This can be the villain breakdown. Name and occupation, please.
Darian Crescent, Detective Criminal Affairs Division 3.
That's the International Affairs Division, for those of you who didn't know. And I'm a guitarist for the Governors. Maybe you've heard of us.
Do you fully understand the circumstances under which you stand before us today?
Yeah, I understand, Your Honor. What I don't understand is how you let this happen, partner. You gave me your word I wouldn't be standing here. The situation's changed, Darian. And don't call me partner. So much for old friends. I see what you're doing, Darian. You're pressing the prosecution. Your Honor, if we could begin the trial?
Yes, it's high time we did. Let's hear your testimony. You may begin with your response to Lemiroir's testimony. If, in fact, you have anything to say about it.
Oh, I got plenty to say. Lying must be a national pastime in Virginia. And wherever you're from, Mr. Justice. Ha! Conventional methods are out the window, huh? There goes nothing. Darian's rebuttal. The diva's lying, plain and simple. She's got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots as if. Didn't Detective Emma Skye hear those gunshots during the third set anyways? The shooting took place when I was on stage, man.
So you claim Lemiroir's testimony was a lie.
Hey, don't get me wrong. I dig what she's doing, trying to protect that kid. And she's got the court eating vague statements out of her hand just because she's blind. You go too far, Darian. Look, all I'm saying is you've got a reliable witness. Why not listen to the detective?
Detective Sky? I see. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
Didn't waste any time finding our weak spot. I can't do this with Lamiwar's testimony alone. I'll have to find some other way to prove when the shooting took place. I just don't know where to approach this right now. She got nothing to back up her story. In the first place, she never heard my voice. She forgot the words because she heard gunshots as if. Didn't Detective Emma Sky hear those gunshots during the third set anyways? Objection! Some things were found at the crime scene after yesterday's trial.
What things?
The first was this, a small device. So that's a remote trigger igniter. Correct. And one more thing.
Well, what are those? The remains of something burnt? Not another guitar, I hope.
I actually want to just quickly check it, just for, you know, because I do that. Okay, that's all. Just wanted to look at it. Say I'd done it.
Not another guitar, I hope.
Traces of gunpowder were found on these fragments. We have a report that it was something like a firecracker. How did Gavin know about this? What, do you think Detective Sky works for you? I love it. That makes me happy. What, you think she works for you? Oh, man. I received the report this morning before coming here. That's when I made my decision, actually.
What decision is this, Prosecutor Gavin?
I registered Darian as a witness in today's trial. Oh! Just in case. This raises another possibility. See, this is what I'm fucking talking about. He's totally on our side. He's totally on our side. He's not here to fuck with us. He's not here to get, this is the thing. He's not, unlike every single prosecutor we've had up until this point, except for technically Godot, his goal has never been a guilty verdict. He said, after the firecracker was submitted by Emma Sky, he registered Darian as a witness himself because he knew that this was a possibility. This is what I'm saying. He's not after a guilty verdict. That's what it is. That's what I've been trying to figure out, to word it correctly. He's not after a guilty verdict like almost every single prosecutor has been up until this point. Think about both Von Karma's and Edgeworth, and even Godot to an extent if you really think about it. They were all after guilty verdicts because they were just like, we're the prosecution, we have to get a guilty verdict. That's the point. But he knows, even though this is one of his friends, one of his bandmates, and one of his fellow detectives, he knows this guy could have done it. He absolutely could have done it. And I'm going to find the truth no matter what. He's on our side, and that's what makes it so fucking interesting, because it doesn't feel like I have to fight against the prosecution's bullshit. It feels like I have to fight against the prosecution, who is also after what I'm after, but they are the prosecution. I fucking love this guy, dude. I think this might have been the final push. I think he might be my favorite prosecutor now. I think that might have been the final push. This raises another possibility. Those gunshot-like sounds during the third set could have been two firecrackers rigged to go off by remote control. Haha! You got an active imagination, don't you? But you shouldn't say every little thing you think. Your explanation there seems a bit too convenient to me. How so? So you're saying these firecrackers just happened to go off, right when two witnesses came walking by? Ha! That's right. Darian was out on stage when it happened, Apollo. How would you know someone was backstage right then? The firecracker goes off in the forest and there's no one there to hear. You get my drift? Why go through the trouble, man? How do I explain this? He may not look it, but Darian is a gifted detective. Show any weakness and he's sure to find it. You may not look it, partner? Gee, thanks, man. That reminds me. I happened to pass through that very hallway several times that day myself, and I saw something odd there just before the third set. Something odd? A headset. It's the kind all of the band and staff members were wearing. Holy shit, it was planted. Holy shit, it was fucking planted. And he's oh my god. Oh my god, this is the best fucking game. It was planted. Clavier knows this, and he's revealing that. He's the one who's revealing it because he's like, yes, no, he'll get you out. Haha. But really, yeah, he fucking planted it. The kind all of his abandoned staff members were wearing. That's right. We picked this up in front of the door to that dressing room. What if that headset wasn't dropped but placed, and what if it was turned on? You could hear what was going on in that hallway. Oh my god, this is the fucking greatest. Even if you were out on stage. Whose side are you on, Gavin? Listen to me, Diane. There are no sides in the court of law. Which is why I now turn to you, FYI. I have a question for you. Huh? For me? The igniter and the burnt fragments that were found at the scene of the crime. It's certainly a possibility that they were part of a ruse to fix the sound of gunshots. So the headset from the hallway into the mix and you could fabricate an alibi. But we're no closer to proving anything. Those gunshots might have been real or fake, we can't say. You've raised the possibilities that the shots heard during the third set of the faked. Now you need to prove the other half is the case. The other half? Look, I'll just tell him. He wants you to prove the thing went down in the second act, while our little piano player was on stage. That right, Gavin? Indeed. If you can't prove that, then to continue this cross-examination would be pointless. He knows! He knows! Oh my fucking god, he knows! Well, Mr. Justice, can you prove the crime took place during the second act? Yeah, I think. You'd better know, Apollo, otherwise we're through. It can be proven. You make it sound like someone else is going to come along and do it for you. Oh, shit. This isn't going to be easy. I need some decisive proof and fast. You ready, kid? 'Cause I am. Shooting took place during the second set. If you're so sure, let's see your proof. Present. Mixing board. Present. Objection! Seems there was clear proof left behind. Right here in Lemuel's song. Her song? What exactly is this device thingy? A new variety of gramophone, perhaps? Come on, we just used this, and don't get me started on gramophone. This device was used to record the performance part by part. Part? He moves the sliders to adjust the volume. Each instrument is adjustable separately, Lemuel's voice included. Oh, but what does this prove? According to Lemuel's testimony, at the moment of the shooting, she forgot the words to the song. Ah, you intend to examine the recording at that moment, huh? We might even hear those gunshots. Exactly. Oh my god, I can just like see them kind of just giving that the half smirk across the courtroom to each other, because they're both fucking playing off of each other. What's really important about that is they're doing something right now that it took Edgeworth and Phoenix two whole games to do. Exactly. Ridiculous. And he's looking at the two of them like, fuck, shit, they're on to me. How are you supposed to hear gunshots back in that dressing room on stage? Have you forgotten, Diane? We were all wearing these headsets. Oh. We were all deeply involved in our performance, but Lemuel's headset would have picked up what he heard all the same. Well, let's get to analyzing that recording. Right now. Lemuel stopped singing when she heard the shots fired. Find that spot, now find the gunshots. Already way fucking ahead of you. Take that! Your Honor, listen closely to this part. This is the track with Lemuel's vocals. Keys in my heart held onto so tight. Boom. I did hear something faintly there, yes. Why, it sounded like a gunshot. What? This has to be some kind of mistake. I believe a case has been made. Gunshots were heard during the second set, which means Lemuel's testimony was true. Order. So she was telling the truth about what she heard.
It was the other man speaking, not Mr. Letus.
Well, what did he say?
It's over. Press the switch now.
Just after that, there was a gunshot, and then the guitar caught on fire. Detective Crescent, you weren't on stage during the second set. You could have done it.
But why did he only hear one gunshot on the recording? Weren't two birds fired from this weapon?
Lamiwar was moving through the air vent, Your Honor. She must not have been close enough for her mic to catch the first shot, but then as she passed over the dressing room, the gun fired again and Mr. Letus's life was taken. Well, Detective Crescent? Once again I'm reminded of something. Our performance that day.
Your performance?
Seems the mixing bowl jogged my memory. You were there too, FYI. What is it with today? Problem after problem. Achtung! My hog won't start, my guitar case is busted, my guitar's been burnt to a crisp, but to top it all off, someone's dead. And then there was a performance just now. What was that all about? This part is off. Which is that? Second guitar. It was you, Darian! I thought it was strange at the time. How could you miss such a simple cue? I know you. I know how you play. You're better than that.
Yeah, well, Why didn't Prosecutor Gavin? What are you getting at?
I'm talking about the murder weapon. Mr. Letus's 45 caliber hand cannon. It fucked up his hand! Oh, I love this case. As we have learned, even the shooter doesn't go unscarred with a revolver that size. The kickback is strong enough to dislocate your shoulder if you're an amateur. Wait, you mean his playing was affected because he hurt himself shooting that revolver? Ha, you're forgetting something.
Yes, Detective Crescent?
I'm a trained police officer, you know. I've had firearms training. Plenty of it. I'm no amateur. The standard sidearm issued to police officers is a 38 caliber weapon. As much tame a beast. Also, the murder weapon belonged to the victim, Mr. Letus, which suggests there was a struggle between killer and victim.
So the killer might not have been holding the revolver correctly when he fired.
Is that what you mean? The thought that occurred to me, yes.
Well, does the witness have anything to say to this? Detective Crescent,
what I want to ask is what Mr. Sleeves rolled up ready for action has to say. Hey you, attorney! Me? Exactly which piece of your evidence is decisive again? You got a little noise on a tape that could be anything, and you have an alleged guitar cue missed due to a 45 caliber kickback. I weep for this case, Gavin, I really do. You can line up your little weak piece of evidence all you want. I didn't shoot that manager, and that's the obvious truth.
The witness has a point. The defense's arguments, while persuasive, are not decisive. I believe we should hear what the witness has to say in response to the case so far. Your testimony, please, Detective Crescent. Tell us your reasons why you couldn't have done it.
I mean, that's the thing that should have made it so he was never arrested in the first place, but fucking whatever. Come on, why would he even want to kill that manager? You want a reason? Easy. I got no motive, man. That's what this diva's first trip to... This was the diva's first trip to this country, right? How could I possibly know her manager? If I didn't know him, why would I want to kill him?
Simple reason indeed. Prosecutor Gavin, is it the case that Mr. Letus had not been to our country before?
According to our records, yes, not even once.
I see, very well. Mr. Justice, you may begin the cross-examination.
Great, now I need to find a motive. And that will be the name. The number. Oh, one. Fuck. I'm pretty sure it's this. There's another thing that makes it more plausible, right? No. Okay, fuck. Damn it. Oh no, because he didn't know it. Fuck, never mind. I almost just reload the whole thing. That would have sucked. Her manager, sure, but Mr. Letus was... Oh, right, sorry, an Interpol agent, wasn't he? I just have trouble picturing that big lunk as an undercover cop, you dig? And I'm not a very good one, seeing as how he got wasted. That's cold, dog. Not that it matters either way. See, I had no reason to kill the man, whatever he was. So you didn't fraternize with him at all during the concert? Fraternize? Huh, I don't think we exchanged a single word. As if anyone would want to talk to that old Eastern blockhead. The other ladies, that's a different matter altogether. So you see... Sure about that? What? What? Why'd that look off your face before I do it for you? Listen, you try throwing out one of your wild accusations, I'll throw it back at you so hard you'll forget who you're accusing of what. Yeah, Floyd, perhaps it's best if you let your evidence do the talking. Haha, man, what evidence? That's what I want to know. He's using this mode of question as ammunition, huh? Well, I've got ammunition too. Evidence. Maybe? Let's say we'll go with the cocoon. Objection! Your Honor, take a look at this. What's that? Looks like candy. It's not. Don't lick it, please. Detective Crescend, ever seen this? Looks like a piece of candy. What it is evidence. Don't lick it before you try it. Specifically, this is a replica of a cocoon. It was found among the victim's belongings. A cocoon? Never seen one that color. It is a variety found only in the Republic of Virginia. Nowhere else. Nowhere else. Alright, but what is this cocoon replica doing in my courtroom? Surely this has nothing to do with the motive for killing Mr. Letus. Does it? It does. Wait. I think it does. You don't sound so confident, man. A cocoon. Is it one of those silky cocoons? The kind that you can make, well, silk out of? Not this one. This cocoon makes a powerful curative. A curative for what? Apparently, it is most efficacious at treating a disease most thought incurable. It is the only medicine of its kind. However, it is illegal to take one of these healing cocoons out of Virginia. Whatever for? If it's such a miracle cure, why not share it with the world? Yeah, that's what I've been wondering. We looked into the matter at some length. Apparently, it isn't difficult at all to manufacture the remedy from the cocoon. Yet if you change the process only slightly, you can easily make a large quantity of something else entirely. A deadly poison, in fact. What? There was an incident several years ago where some of these got out into the black market. It caused quite a commotion in the global community, so the media was kept largely unaware. Intriguing. All this has led to a strict ban on the cocoon's export, one rigidly enforced by Interpol among others. Interpol? Right. The victim, Romain Letus, was a Interpol agent. Detective Crescend, you insist on referring to him as a manager, but that is misleading. Romain Letus wasn't killed as a manager. He was killed as an undercover agent. So I was trying to smuggle this gumball into the country. That's what you're trying to say. I'm saying that could well be a motive for murder. Oh, so I was gonna sell on the black market, make myself a pretty penny? Ridiculous. Totally unthinkable. Unthinkable, you say? Why? Perhaps it's time for another testimony about this smuggling of cocoons business. Really? This needs a testimony? I don't know. International Affairs got a memo about these cocoons. Interpol's all hot and bothered about them. Can't sell them on the black market. Too dangerous. Yeah, cocoon smuggling ain't exactly lucrative anymore. Man, I'm in international affairs. I know the deal. Indeed, Interpol wanted these cocoons bad enough to send Mr. Letus undercover. You kids think up the craziest ideas, but no way am I gonna risk life and limb just to get my hands on some dirty cocoon money. Not the most noble of statements, but duly noted. According to reports, these cocoons top Interpol's list. Selling them to an underground organization would be risky. Very well, you may begin the cross-examination. This is the only motive I've got. He was up to something, and I'm going to find out what.
But wouldn't scarcity drive up prices? Yeah, and attention. Every gangster and his brother would want a piece of that action. They'd turn your forehead into Swiss cheese before you could say objection. Maybe we could get them to cut his hair too.
Who's on trial here today?
Man, you so obviously know nothing about the market. That's a bad thing? Don't even try to mess with me about this stuff. Dangerous? Yeah, Interpol finds you, they arrest you on the spot. Or another marketeer might think you're part of a sting and take you out himself. Times have changed. I would know? That memo, that's how you knew about the cocoons. Oh, nice one, nice one. I'm running scared now. You had to know about the cocoons to plan this. Just how well known are these cocoons? I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I'd never heard of them. Well, Lamiwar knew about them, though not their use. My reports indicate that they are on an ongoing efforts to control information about the cocoons. Most people only know they're illegal to exports, that's all. Then I've nothing to be embarrassed about after all. You say people like me who know about them are a minority, yeah, but that includes everyone in international affairs, man. And everyone in Interpol, too, for that matter. Yeah. So there are other Interpol agents like Mr. Letus. All over the world, likely, deep undercover, most of them. That's why these cocoons are so hot for the black market. You don't want Interpol sniffing through your wares. Most came to the conclusion that... Which is why you'd know about how to find a loophole in the system. Hey, you can say what you want about me, but back off of international affairs. There ain't no loopholes, okay? What do you think we are, Boy Scouts? That wasn't what I was trying to do. Down Darian, if that's you say. There are no loopholes, at least in the case of these cocoons. International affairs, Interpol and Bojinian customs are all watching. See, we know what we're doing. Not like some yipping little doggies that lap up every word that Diva says. Why I oughta. Oughta what? You want some of this? Chill, both of you. Let's do this cool, yeah? Now, screw cool, I want this guy's head on a stick. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to.
I think I know. I'm gonna save real quick. Got him. He wants it for the cure. Why choose a dangerous... Why... Who would choose... I don't know what just happened. I don't know. I didn't hear what that said. Sorry. I would. How clueless are you? Everyone in the market's dangerous. The second they found out I was a cop, I could kiss my keister goodbye. Why sell it to a black market buyer? How about someone like this? That article that's about the Chief Justice's. A deadly poison can be extracted from the cocoon, but so can a cure. And not a cure for just any disease. A cure for incuritis. Incuritis? I've heard of that somewhere. You went to visit a victim of the disease this morning. Ah, why that's the disease the Chief Justice's son has. You aren't saying... Our witness is a detective. He would have contact with the Chief Justice. You are saying the Chief Justice would never deal in contraband. Not even to save his own son's life? But even if the deal went through, why'd it be an international scandal? That's Detective Crescen's insurance. If word ever got out, the one with his neck on the line would be the Chief Justice. Detective Crescend, is this true? First I'm a murderer, now I'm a smuggler? How many crimes are you trying to pin on me anyway? As distasteful as it is to think about, if the Chief Justice were the buyer, why a seller couldn't hope for a better deal. A very cowardly seller. Don't let sleeves over there trick you. So I made a deal with the Chief Justice? Where's your proof? Well... Oh yeah, and you're forgetting one other important thing. Do tell. Interpol isn't the only ones out there watching this. Borginium Customs barely sleeps. They're so worried about cocoons getting out. So we were informed. Let's continue with the cross-examination. Just how strict is this customs check? Way strict. They keep planes on the ground for hours. I do recall it being a bit extreme. They were even confiscating gumdrops and marshmallows. Yes, it would be hard to distinguish them. That's right, Gavin was in Virginia, wasn't he? I remember setting off some metal detectors several times. I had to practically strip naked to walk through. Here's a travel tip for you, Gavin. Leave the bling at home, you glimmers fop. Jesus, dude. That's pretty extreme. Virginia has this rep as an idyllic, laid-back place. Truth is, they're beyond hardcore with security. The Republic of Virginia is a peaceful, pleasant country, so this level of security shows us how truly concerned they are about these cocoons. That's the situation. Hey man, if there's a way to get cocoons out of there, I'd sure like to know. You're in a position to know quite a bit about smuggling. Yeah, I need to know a bit for work, sure, but all we get are reports on the failed smuggling ops. Not exactly something you want to go copying. But if you want, I can tell you a few of them. Maybe you'll succeed and get rich. I would be interested in hearing, purely from a legal perspective, of course. I weep for our judicial system. The replica has to be the key to his motive. There's gotta be a way to find out what he was up to. Jesus Christ, okay. Yeah, I think we can do this. Objection. Actually, there is one way. What? One way to get something out of the country. No checks. Well, what is it? You become a prosecutor. A prosecutor? I don't believe it. Believe it, Prosecutor Gavin. What was it that you told me yesterday at your office? It was a beautiful instrument. It was played lovingly for many years. A guitar befitting a woman like La Miroir. How did it end up here? I mentioned how much I enjoyed playing it that night, and she made a present of it. So this guitar is from Virginia? That it is. We couldn't carry it on the plane. Changes in air pressure and humidity ruins the wood. So we vacuum packed it in La Miroir's studio. I use a special shipping service available to me for transporting evidence. They brought it right up to my office for me. Pristine and untouched. Did I get that right, Prosecutor Gavin? Untouched? Quite. The guitar was wrapped in several sheets and vacuum packed in Virginia. The back was untouched until the day of the concert. Are you saying that guitar was... With cocoons this small, it would have been very easy to use your guitar as a mule to smuggle a cocoon out of Virginia. But what? What? Which reminds me, Prosecutor Gavin, that guitar had some work done on it recently, right? What work? Good memory, forehead. Well, you know how guitars have a round hole in the front? It is called the sound hole. Well, they found something attached to the wood just inside the hole. A broken device of some sort. A broken device? Yes, this, in fact.
An igniter?
Exactly. Consider this, if you will. What if that igniter wasn't the only thing that was attached inside your guitar? You mean? He means this, of course. Ah! There was a way to get the cocoon out of the country. They could use picky Prosecutor Gavin's privileged guitar as a mule. And who better to do that than someone with access? Like a member of the band. Yo! Fucking bumping music.
So the igniter
Was placed in there for a clear reason, it seems. It was a safety precaution.
a precaution?
Ah, forehead. At last, it all comes together. Every strange thing that happened that day. Care to review? Maestro, the gentle sounds of Lamioire's ballad, if you please. First, my keys were stolen, a harmless misdemeanor, which forced me to break the lock on my guitar case. The key was stolen to retrieve the cocoon from the guitar.
I see.
But things didn't go so well. The smuggler wasn't counting on the guitar being wrapped. Only a member of the band could get near that case. Unwrapping the guitar would raise too many suspicions. Then the concert began. Right about this time, a very large problem presented itself to the smuggler.
What was that?
Mr. Letus. Ah. Mr. Letus, an undercover agent, was onto something. He would have known about the guitar. He'd only have to check his shipping records. So Mr. Letus tried to examine the guitar himself. If the cocoon were confiscated, then the gig would be up. The only thing left for the smuggler to do is to get rid of the whole lot. It's over! Press the switch, now! The guitar burst into flames and the cocoon was lost. And then Mr. Letus died, with Lamioire there to witness it. There's your case. Fucking breakdown. Oh, brilliant, man.
Detective Crescend?
I gotta know, you make up all that on the fly? For a made-up story, it makes a great deal of sense, Diane. The Republic of Virginia? Sorry, man, but I haven't even been there. Sure, you haven't. Let's see you make up a story for that, kid. How'd I have the cocoon in the first place, huh? It's not so hard to imagine. You had help. Virginian accomplice. That's all. That you had an accomplice was clear from the start. The voice Lamioire heard proves it. It's over. Press the switch now. You made this transmission from backstage, while your co-conspirator was on stage.
But who was it?
This is it, the coup de grace. And for once I know what I'm doing. There's only one person who could have helped him. Let's see what Mr. Justice has to say then. But be warned, with a great accusation comes great responsibility. Make up your answer on the fly, as it were, and you'll be harshly penalized. Are you ready, Mr. Justice? Who was the smuggler's accomplice? There's only one person who meets all the requirements of the accomplice. And that person is the defendant, Machi Tabai.
But Mr. Justice, he's your client.
A defense attorney accusing his client. That's a new one. I assure you no one is more unhappy about this than I, but I'm here to defend him in the murder of Mr. Letus, and I stand by my statement earlier that he is innocent of that particular crime.
Indeed, the defendant is Bourguignon.
He does meet the basic requirements to be the accomplice. But what if it was, in fact, Lamioire? It couldn't have been.
Well, you seem sure of yourself.
The reason is electronic signals, Your Honor.
Electronic signals?
Recall that this remote only works to a range of 30 feet. Beyond that, it's useless.
Yes, that's true.
Now think back to the testimony. When the shooter made his transmission, Lamioire was in the air vent, right above the dressing room where the shooter stood. Let's look at the stage diagram. This is the area that the remote could reach from the air vent.
Well, looking at this, it seems that Lemuel could have done the deed.
No. When the shooter made the transmission, the stage was slightly different than shown here. It was in the middle of the guitar Serenade. Part of the stage was raised. Prosecutor Gavin and Lemuel standing were in the air. They were on a tower which happens to be 15 feet tall. In other words, the remote couldn't have worked from Lemuel's position in the air vent. Ah! Well, Detective Crescend, what do you say to that?
Your Honor? Yes, Detective?
Could we see the video where Gavin's guitar burns? Just one more time. This is gonna be the second. This is gonna be the first one.
Oh, well, I don't see why not.
What? Don't tell me he has a way out of this.
Too bad, so sad, punk.
Punk? First you were sleeves, then kid, now punk. You're losing rank fast, Apollo.
What exactly were we supposed to see in this video?
The problem isn't in what we see, correct, Aryan?
Right, it's what you hear.
We are musicians, after all. Care to explain for us non-musicians?
Sure thing, punk.
Let me get your yarn straight first. You're saying I ordered the wee penis to set off that igniter. That right? Yes. Well, in order to do that, he'd have to press a switch. Am I right? Okay. Well, take another listen. Pay attention to the piano. Piano?
What seems to be the problem there?
I'm just going to take the moment to go for it. That's what I was looking for. Right there.
The piano sounded just fine.
Oh fuck! There was another part I was trying to do here. So it's here. Yeah, he keeps playing. But now I'm wondering, is there a part where this is silent? For an extended period of time?
That's the problem, man. You still don't get it?
Yeah, how's he supposed to hit that switch if he's playing? You've got Miss Diva, the guitar, the bass, the piano, and the drums. The only one with her hands free was the diva. I mean, why? But according to you, she couldn't have been the accomplice, could she? Your accomplice would have had a hard time helping out if they couldn't even press a switch. Why are we watching this again? The piano plays non-stop. He couldn't have pressed that switch.
Well, Mr. Justice, the piano does seem to be playing when the guitar catches fire.
Well, okay, we all make mistakes sometimes. Apollo, were you wrong? I can't be wrong. Everything makes perfect sense. How could it all just... Strange. What's strange? No, it's just... Something's odd about the performance there. Odd?
Mr. Justice, if Machitabai didn't press that switch, then he could not be the accomplice you claim he is.
But everything points to it. Every fact says he's the accomplice.
Got the facts wrong, man.
Here's some facts for you. Gavin's guitar is on fire, but the pianist didn't press the switch. In other words, your story's full of holes.
Mr. Justice, let's hear your final opinion on this matter now. Was the defendant Machitabai the accomplice? Your answer will reflect on everything you said here. Give it some thought.
Apollo, if Matchie's not the accomplice, then our whole case is ruined. I know that. It has to be him. He was the only one who could have helped the smuggler. He had to have pressed that switch. Well, you better find a way to prove it. What do I do? What do I do? It has to be something that doesn't fit. Something odd. Something odd. Wait a second. What? You thought of something? You thought of something? What was Gavin saying just now? It's the thing that we meant. Yeah, we already caught this. Strange. What's strange? No, it's just something's odd about the performance there. It's not much to go on, but it's all I've got. What exactly did he hear that was odd?
Have you come up with something? Have you come up with something, Mr. Justice? May I remind you that everything rests on this. Can you prove Machitabai pressed that switch? Let's hear your final answer.
Can you prove that Machitabai pressed that switch? Whoa, that was... Why did you fucking say that twice? I don't know if you can call this proof per se, but I can prove it was possible. Then as prosecutor, it falls to me to ask you to show us as evidence supporting this. Our forehead. You're sure about this? I accept it. There's no evidence, man.
That's your evidence, Mr. Justice. On On what do you base your claim that the defendant pressed that switch?
The basis for my claim is this evidence, Your Honor.
I'm not sure I follow.
Yeah, you can't bluff your way out of this one. Nor can you prove anyone pressed the switch with that evidence. God damn it, really? It's an equal and opposite. I guess it's the music. I want to check this out one last time. It's that rise there. We're looking for that rise. Maybe. Shit. I'm gonna go with it. The basis for my claim is music, Your Honor.
Music? What about music?
Let's listen to the piano part around the time when the switch was to be pressed, right before the guitar burst into flame.
I hear a piano being played,
but doesn't it sound kind of simple? It wasn't the part I was looking at. I still don't know. Okay, am I crazy? Okay, hold on. Just real quick. Just real quick. So does this not matter? I don't know.
Symbol?
Ah, I think I know what he's suggesting. You think Machi could have played that part with his one hand?
What hand?
He only needed one hand to press that switch. He could play the piano with the other. Yeah, what? So you're some kind of piano savant? Actually, no. Then what do you know? You can't play a part like that with one hand. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. Wait, I know. Hey, Chusi. Yeah, you got something? Mr. Wright, your father, he's a pianist. Could he... Oh, Daddy? He couldn't play a part like that even if he had 3 hands. So sorry. So sad for you. No. Not really. Uh-huh. That was just the easy way to prove it. There's always the hard way. Man, how are you going to prove whether he played it with one hand or 2? You can't. I admit it will be rather difficult to prove, but it's highly likely he was playing with one hand.
How do you know that?
The clue is what Prosecutor Gavin described as sounding odd. What sounded odd? I'll bet we can tell by listening to a certain part of the song.
No. No way. Well, it seems we've come to the moment of truth at last. Let's hear what Mr. Justice has to say for himself. Show us the part that proves the defendant was playing with one hand, right before the guitar burst into flame.
Nachi was definitely playing one-handed just before the guitar caught fire, and one section of the song proves it. Was that it? That part right there. Right at the end on 5, I think. Maybe? I can't select a certain piece, is the problem. I know, I'm just listening to the rest. I'm gonna listen to the whole thing. 1 second. I'm going with you guys. You guys are the music guys. Prosecutor Gavin, I'm sure you've realized by now just what it was that sounded odd to you. As I'm sure you've realized it yourself, Airforehead. Realize what? I'll demonstrate. Let's listen to the part in the question again, shall we? Pay particular attention to the "but a fleeting melody" phrase. Man, how many times do we have to listen to the same goddamn thing? You're right, enough of that. Let's listen to another section, shall we? Another section? The guitar bursts into flame at the end of the second verse. Let's listen to the same spot, in the first verse. Pay attention to "Oh, that night in your embrace." Play verse 2 again. There, did you hear that? They feel the same, true, but they're clearly very different. What? Well put, Your Honor. The phrase in verse 2 is quite simple, but the same phrase in verse 1 has high and low notes. You'd have to use 2 hands to play that for sure. What's that proof? I would think you'd know that by now. This is why I hate dealing with amateurs, man. So the 2 verses are different arrangements. Happens all the time. Not this time, Darian. There's no point in changing an arrangement if you can't hear it clearly. And that wasn't the point. I had them play specifically so that the piano would stay in the background. Oh! That was what I noticed. Why should the same phrase sound slightly different, I ask myself. Now ask yourselves why Matchy changed how he played, and there's only one answer. He needed a free hand in order to press the switch. I believe this ties all the facts together. Well, Prosecutor Gavin? Yes, quite. So personally, this comes as a terrible disappointment. What, no comeback? I can't believe it. I finally did it. I shut him up.
Very well, barring an objection from the prosecution, I will now state the court's opinion on this matter.
Good show, Sleeves. No, great show. It's not over. I don't like when he looks so happy. You tell him, Gavin. Tell him what's so disappointing. Personally, I'm terribly disappointed in you, F-Wide. Me? Yes, don't get me wrong. Your case is solid. The facts all check out, but even now, you have yet to show us a single piece of decisive evidence. Yeah, but the facts. Anyone can see it was him.
Unfortunately, anyone does not include the law. I'm afraid your case doesn't cut it.
But...
1,000 facts may point towards the same conclusion, but without decisive evidence, it's not proof. That's the rule under our current legal system.
I don't believe it.
It does not seem as though the defense has any more evidence to present.
Oh, I think if he did, we would have. Oh, I think if he did, we would already have seen it a long ways back.
It is unfortunate, but at present this court is unable to acknowledge your accusation.
What? The truth is staring us all right in the face. Why can't they see it? What's the point of a legal system that protects criminals? Apollo, remember what Daddy said? It won't be easy proving he did it. Especially not under the current court system. So what do we do? Like I said, good luck. And be aware that it will be impossible to prove his guilt by conventional methods. Ugh. Every man has an igniter inside him. Find Daria and Krishen's igniter and set it off. I wonder what he meant by every man's igniter. I think he just meant a weak spot, no? Kind of thing that a single spark could turn to a wildfire of emotion. I won't be able to press him further by conventional means. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. I reckon the guitar love. No. Something love. Suicide love? I don't know. I've got to find a weak spot in this guy. Something fatal. So, can I get back to work now or what? It may look like I got a lot of time on my hands, but I got no more time to play pretend with this deadweight attorney.
Well, Mr. Justice, we've come this far without decisive evidence. This witness won't be coming back to the stand once we let him go.
Every man has an igniter.
Huh?
Did you say the better the guitar, the brighter it burns, Prosecutor Gavin? Ah, yes, good guitars are kept dry is why. That provides the best sound. Even a small spark could cause irreparable damage. Your plan has an igniter in it too, Detective. It was there from the very beginning.
What?
Fighting time, Justice. If you blow this one, he'll be out of your hands for good. Go for it, Apollo. What, and this igniter's supposed to come burn me up? That's almost poetic there, Mr. Attorney. All the better. I'm rather fond of poetry. And I intend to hear this one through to the very end. Forehead. You are accusing this man, Darin Krishen, of 2 crimes. The murder of Mr. Leitus and the smuggling of a Boginian cocoon. This is your last chance to prove your case.
This trial has already run on for far too long. Mr. Justice, this will be my last warning. The moment this igniter of yours turns out to be a dud is the moment this cross-examination ends. Understood?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then let's have at it. Show us the basis for these accusations against Darin Krishen.
Okay, this is really my last chance. The key that will take apart Darin Krishen's plan is... The non-conventional means is I have to piss him the fuck off. And there's only one thing that we've seen in this entire case that pisses him the fuck off, besides not being able to work. And that would be him playing the part wrong. I think call I think I gotta call Prosecutor Gavin to the stand. This is fucking, hey, this is crazy, but I think I know the route. I think I know the destination. I just don't know the route exactly. But I think Prosecutor Gavin can testify that he played like garbage in their third act. And you know what really pisses off the guy, the Mr. Rockstar here? Doing things incorrectly. I think. I'm gonna try it. No, fuck, yeah, you're right. It already came out. We didn't focus it, though. No, it can't be Machi. I don't think it's Machi. I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna go for the Gavin route. I'm just fuck it, you know. Your igniter isn't a piece of evidence. Huh? So what is? It is true that I couldn't show decisive evidence, but perhaps what I needed to prove my case was something else. You mean a witness? Proving his guilt is a tall order, but I've got just the person to do it. Very well, Mr. Justice. Who's the person that can prove the guilt? I've got a lot of shots. I'm gonna do it even though I know it's wrong because Chris is being an asshole about it and being like, "Oh, can I just stop you from wasting time?" I'm gonna do it. Fuck you, man. I'm gonna do it. I'm committing. I don't care if it's wrong. This person is your igniter? Okay. No, you know what, man? Fuck it. I went down swinging. I'll take that shit. I'll take that shit easy. Who is it? Fuck. Is it a witness or just evidence? What will piss him off? What will make him mad? I don't think we... Can we trust Machi, though? More specifically, will the court trust Machi? She does not. Look at what the fuck does that mean? Are you saying Lemioir? Oh, okay. No, she doesn't. Although, to be fair, she doesn't really... She shouldn't know how old she is. It's gotta be a person. It's gotta be a fucking person. Just who? There's no way it can be any of these. No way. Alright, fuck it. Let's do it. The one person who can prove Darian Krishen's guilt is the defendant, Machi Tobai. Your client again? Machi Tobai was an accomplice to the cocoon smuggling plot. Without him, Darian Krishen could not have gotten the cocoon. Furthermore, he can easily prove that the one who plotted to smuggle that cocoon is the real criminal in this case. Now so, it would require just one of these very cocoons Mr. Letus was looking for. With the cooperation of the Republic of Virginia, we could burn a cocoon. The burnt cocoon would leave a particular residue. A residue we would, no doubt, also find inside the burnt-out guitar. Very scientific of you. Thus, if Machi Tobai acknowledges his agreement with Darian Krishen concerning the attempted smuggling of a Virginian cocoon, the case is solved. Yeah. Darian's laughing again. Your unrelenting passion is remarkable. You really want to get me, don't you? Too bad you'll never be able to. Why not? Little Key Tickler won't acknowledge anything, especially not anything to do with cocoon smuggling. What's this all about? Taking a cocoon out of the country means death. By Virginian law. Yeah, see? If our penis really was a smuggler, then testifying about it would be suicide. Believe me, he's not talking. But you're wrong, Detective Krishen. What? It's the other way around. If Machi doesn't admit to smuggling here, he's in deep trouble. What how? Look, if Machi admits to smuggling here, then he'll be tried in our courts by our laws. You don't get the death penalty for smuggling in our country. The victim in this case was an undercover Interpol agent. I'm sure that news has already reached Virginia, and they'll likely broadcast our dealings in court today, including the part about the Virginian cocoon. Yeah, but if Machi doesn't admit to smuggling now, he'll eventually be picked up by the Virginian police. And it's not like he's in any danger in our court. We're not gonna find him guilty of murder here. Not now. Yeah, but you can't do this. You can't accuse me! Maybe the law doesn't allow it. But who's going to think you're really innocent after hearing this trial? The same goes for Machi Tobai. The cocoon smuggling, your entire plan. Machi Tobai knows everything. There's only one way out of it for him. And that's to acknowledge his own crime. The crime of cocoon smuggling. Don't worry there. I'll get you out of the country. I'll set you up someplace, a hidden mansion, real nice. You want a house made of cookies? Oh no, a house made out of pianos. Come on. Please! Don't take! Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Also, fuck you, Chris. Diane, I consider that my last session with you. We rocked. I'm guessing we can treat that outburst as a confession? Uh-oh, he's laughing again. There's a kind of sick desperation in it now, though. Well, have you been listening to today's trial?
Yes.
And you'll talk. You'll tell the court everything. I didn't want it to turn out this way, but I'm not the kind of lawyer that can overlook a crime. Today's trial was all for your benefit, you know? I see no reason why you should hesitate now.
I knew from beginning. I knew.
Machi.
Situation I cannot explain, but money I needed. Very much money.
Today's trial raises a delicate issue with our legal system. The only thing definite in a court of law is evidence. This is the golden rule. However,
It has become apparent that not all things can be tried by this standard.
should another case of this sort surface, we may have to consider an alternate system by which to administer justice.
Oh shit! Whoa!
Anyway, Mr. Machitobai.
Wow. That was fucking on the nose. You can almost imagine him staring directly into the camera, which he kinda is.
Yes.
Promise you will receive a fair trial by the laws of our country. And with regards to the current charges for the murder of Mr. Letus, this court is prepared to announce a verdict.
Oh, he's a beautiful boy.
I thank you.
Oh, he's a beautiful boy.
I only lie, but you see truth. You find truth.
That's our job. Very well. This court finds the defendant Machitobai not guilty.
Ladies and gentlemen, we did it.
Court is adjourned.
July 10th, 4:42 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2.
I wonder what'll happen to Machi.
Well, he did smuggle a cocoon out of Borginia. I guess there'll be another trial here. All's well that ends well.
Daddy! I owe you both my thanks.
What?
Am I something wrong?
I'm sorry, Machi was your partner on stage, your friend.
Yes, I thought of him as my own son. Even now I do. Yet, something got a hold of him. Something evil. I see that. And he must pay for what he has done. Is that not how it should be?
I'm still sorry.
Do not be sorry.
Can someone do me a favor and find out what the smuggling, smuggling sentence would be for a 14-year-old child?
Do not be sorry. You have given me courage.
Courage?
I am considering an eye operation.
It was my suggestion, actually.
You mean you'll be able to see again? It's funny, I have always been afraid of the light. Light seems so harsh yet so unforgiving.
According to the doctor, Lemuel lost her sight due to some kind of accident. An accident?
As you know, I suffer from amnesia. I fear that, if I could see, perhaps it would open my eyes to the truth I've been running from. I was scared.
You know what changed her mind? Hearing your defense in there today. She could feel your gaze, unwavering, always looking straight at the truth.
If the light returns to my eyes, I think I would take up painting.
Painting?
That's right, she's the landscape painter in sound after all. I will paint the two of you, I promise.
Woohoo! I can't wait, Lemuel! I owe you my thanks too, Apollo. Thanks, Mr. Wright, but for what? You reminded me I need to hurry things along. On my secret mission, that is. Right, your secret mission.
Apollo, Trucy, I hope that we will meet again someday soon.
You bet, me too! And so, like a ballad, the trial flowed on until it came to an end. Thanks to the trial, the guitarist Serenade was a huge hit. Prosecutor Gavin's even more dazzling to look at now. But there's something I want to say to that guy. Next time you write a ballad, have them catch the killer at the end. The end. For a 14-year-old child? Turnabout Succession. Well, everybody, we did it. We made it through the whole fucking case. And I am both excited and terribly sad to say that now this Turnabout Succession is the last case of the game. And I hate that because I really fucking like this game. I think this is the best Phoenix Wright game yet, personally. Just if I'm saying, like, if I'm looking at the game as a whole, not talking about like best cases. Actually, most of the games are 4 episodes. If I'm looking at the cases as a whole, as opposed to like the best cases, this is the best game so far. I feel like all of the cases have been really fucking solid. The only one that I would say is like meh is the second one, and I think you can make a case in that, but I didn't even think that was particularly bad. I think you could also make a case for the first one being bad. I think that's mostly a matter of opinion because the case kind of comes out of your hands towards the end. But in my opinion, the cases of this game have been really great, and even the third case syndrome doesn't seem to hit this game, which means you guys were fucking liars. So we're going to go right into it. We're going to hit Turnabout Succession, watch the intro cutscene, and then we'll be done. That is the whole truth of this case. In order to understand it myself, I had to know the story of these last 7 long years. And I had to know the story of these last 7 long years. Nothing happens by chance. All is connected. Whoa! And now, you stand ready to begin the final chapter of this story. Will the defendant be found guilty or innocent? The decision is yours. Holy fucking shit! What a fucking intro! Holy shit! What? What the what? Holy shit! That's a crazy fucking intro. Well, everyone, thank you so much for coming along. It's been fantastic. This has been great. I'm super excited for this case, and I'm also fucking terrified. So, very soon, tomorrow is the plan. We'll be starting that case. We might do a long stream to kick it off. I'm really not sure how. It entirely depends on how I'll be feeling on that day, but I do have a whole weekend where I'm not doing anything because cars, I guess, and renting cars and all that shit. So I don't know, but we'll see. This was an amazing that was an amazing case. I really like that. I really like this game. Thank you everyone for coming along. It's always super fun to be doing these streams. After this game, just a little reminder, by the way, after this case, we're going to be reuniting with some old friends. If anyone remembers what comes next chronologically in the series in terms of release date. After Apollo Justice Ace Attorney is Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth, which is exciting. And then we get Professor Layton. And then we're back to Phoenix Wright. But no other matter. Thank you, everybody. Also, wait, hold on. Hold on. I just found out that apparently they turned that the Takarasuka Revue, an all-female theater troupe, has adapted the series into stage musicals. 2009's Ace Attorney Truth Resurrected, which is based on the last episode of the first game. 2010's Ace Attorney 2 Truth Resurrected Again, whose first act is an original story and whose second is based on the final episode of the second game. And 2013's Ace Attorney 3 Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, which is set before the events of Truth Resurrected Again. A stage play based on the series titled Gyakuten no Spotlight ran in 2013. A 2012 live-action film adaptation of the first game titled Ace Attorney was produced at film studio Toei and directed by Takashi Miike. And 2016 TV... Oh, the anime. Yeah. Just want to let y'all know about that. Anyways, thank you all for coming along. We will play again tomorrow. I love you all. Please have a wonderful night and a wonderful tomorrow and just a wonderful life in general.